Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes, and lots of hats.
Cats? Cats, yes.
I forgot to bring mine.
I don't have a cat.
Oh, fuck.
What?
The YouTube thing just came back with an error.
Well, I'm seeing us live.
Okay, I guess it was just on my feed. It seems to be okay now.
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah, well, on mine instead of live, it came back with an error, but I guess that was just...
Yeah, it's live on here, on mine.
You just
Okay.
said the F word.
What was that?
You just F-bombed.
Yeah, well, I put the disclaimer out there, so...
This is true.
And in the side chat, I see Beck.
Yep.
What the heck?
Hi, Beck.
Hello. Yeah.
Oig. So yes, today is actually National Cat Herders Day. Something that I have quite a lot of experience with, actually.
This is bizarre.
I've had cats in the house, but I haven't actually owned a cat. They've usually been my sisters.
Hi, Kira. And we have a porpoise.
I am the sinister porpoise. When you think of sinister porpoises, think of the sinister porpoise.
How do porpoises go with cats? Oh, I can see one in the background.
Let's see. I mean, as long as we're willing to come out of the water, we get along fine.
Yeah. Cats notoriously not liking water.
You know, there is a video I've seen, a little video clip of a cat on a boat swatting a porpoise on the nose.
Some cats do like... What are you doing? Oh, her toy's over there. Okay.
I wonder how tasty cats are for porpoises, because I wouldn't be surprised if they'd eat them.
I think porpoises are more into seafood.
Yep. Well, Sammy had the Zoom meets just before we went live here. So I was shooting off a couple rounds of the foam balls for him, and now he's decided he's got to take a nap on me.
Well, remember, it's all about the cat's comfort. It is not about your comfort.
Oh, no, we're fine like this. He is actually under the keyboard is actually across his back, and he's got his head on my leg. So, Mage, looks like some kind of a seed pod.
Yep.
Looks like a sunflower
Pumpkin?
seed, actually.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's not pumpkin.
Mage is microscoping his plants now.
Good too.
And that's the sunflower seed.
Good today. Hello.
You're very quiet there, Sloth.
Yeah, I know. Something's weird. Yeah, I know. Hold on.
Yeah, it sounds like your mouth is a long way away from the microphone.
Is that
Yeah,
better?
check your settings. I'm wondering if maybe it's, instead of using your headset, if it's still trying to use the mic on your laptop.
Mm-hmm.
No,
That might be the case.
Is that what was in the sunflower seed, Mage?
No, that's another seed case. I think that's a safflower.
Right.
That one's slightly out of focus. It was better there for a second.
There. How's that?
That's a little better, yeah.
Yeah,
You can
that's
see
better.
the details a bit better.
So this is my cheap ass digital microscope. It's not bad. I mean, it's not great. It doesn't give me any precision on the thing, but you know.
How much did it cost?
I think it's running for about $40 on Amazon. I got it for significantly less since I got it on Black Friday.
Cool.
My
Yeah,
late
that's worth it.
fiance would have loved to have one of those, but
Let's see what this one looks like.
they were rather more expensive some years ago. Berg. Okay.
I don't know
And
what
what
this
is
one
that?
is. I don't know what this one is. But you can see where my bird.
It's a triffid. When it germinates, it's going to eat you.
Yeah.
Well, my bird already ate this one. It's just the casing left. You can see the broken spot.
Or it's one of those alien plants that attach to the back of your neck and then control you.
Right in this area here, you can see the broken spot.
You know, since I've started this job, The Faculty is much less entertaining than it used to be as a low-budget horror movie.
Oh, that's interesting.
Does anyone even remember The Faculty?
Oh, are you talking about the movie?
Yeah,
I remember the 90s movie vaguely. I remember that.
yeah.
Was it Bamka Jansen was in it or something?
At this point, it's more like I remember it existed. I don't remember actually watching it.
Huh, you can actually see the corn in there.
Actually, what I remember most about it is that the weapon against like the body snatchers was speed.
Was what?
It
I
was
got plenty
speed.
of bodies that was snatched.
The weapon they used to kill the aliens was speed.
As in the drug?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I thought you meant like moving really fast at first. Because it's so long I've forgotten most of it.
It wasn't all that memorable. So the better question is, why do I remember it?
Well, I mean, it fits in with your profession, so of course you would remember it more.
Yeah, but I didn't set out to be it. I didn't set out to do this.
Or it could be a symptom of a personality disorder.
Nah, I know my personality disorders.
Beep, beep.
So any guesses what this is?
A potato?
Looks
Nope.
like a rice bubble made out of corn.
Nope.
A bacterium.
No.
No.
I don't
Way
think I
too
have this
big.
thing. I don't think I have this thing set to that small. Though apparently I can do microscopic if I have a slide with this thing. Give up?
Fried squash? Doorknob thinks it is.
No, it's not fried squash.
Hey, Doorknob.
Hello.
I give up.
It's the pellet food I feed my bird.
Oh, but bird food.
Yep.
So it didn't come out of your nose?
No. I'm pretty sure those orangey spots are the corn in that area there.
Do you know what's making it so yellow? Would it be food coloring or?
Like I said, this is made of corn, so that's probably where the dye color is coming from. This would be an interesting one.
Oh, my computer is being incredibly sluggish.
Yeah. There you are.
Have you got the snail model?
Yep.
Ooh,
There. No, he's still twitching. Interesting.
I can't identify what kind of insect that is. Is it a moth of some
Yes.
sort?
It's a moth.
Any idea what type?
Yeah. I can't remember the name off the top of my head now.
Almost dead moth?
Oh, he's dead, really. He's just twitching. I zapped him earlier. My zap racket.
Ah,
Oh, so
right.
it's rigor mortis.
Yeah, probably.
Post-mortem twitching.
Yeah.
Okay, well. We're going to take the spotlight off of you for a bit, Mage.
Sure.
Oh, dang. We lost Slothgurl when I was just about to show off her stuff.
Oh, darn.
Oh,
I'm on the wrong computer to show off the text adventure game I've been working on, and it's not really that interesting.
Okay, well, Slothgirl's still in the side chat. I guess she's just having too much trouble with her equipment. But she wanted to show off what she has been doing lately before we pack them up for shipping.
Yeah. I'd like to see that. Hopefully you can get back in here.
This is a huge pile of hats that she has been making that we will be sending down to her aunt, which is doing a charity thing for veterans. So, giving away, it's about 40 hats that she's made so far, and she's got a couple more that she's still finishing up. So she has been very busy with her knitting machine.
knitting, right. I was going to ask, is it knitting or crocheting or something else?
Well, most of them are knit. You know, a couple of them she's, you know, this bulk style she's been doing on the knitting machine. She's also got some she's been doing by hand because, like, she can't take the main knitting machine with her when she's going to chemo.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Did you crochet some of those? Or were those all knit? Oh. I keep forgetting I gotta do. There we go.
There we go.
Ah. Ooh.
StreamYard changed things and added an extra click I have to do. I keep forgetting to do that too. To share the pictures.
Yep. Oh, nice variety there. Looks like a lot of work.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how many hours she's been putting into that, and just lots and lots of yarn.
Yep. Yarn.
So I bought her a motor for the knitting machine to make it a little easier on her because it was starting to cause her pain in her hand and her wrist just cranking the machine.
A molder?
Yep, so we've motorized her knitting machine now.
Oh,
Yeah.
motor. Okay. Engine type thing. Is
Yep.
it electric motor, I take it?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I imagine cranking a knitting machine would be good RSI material, especially for that amount.
Okay, yeah, she did say some are crocheted.
Oh, are we? Oh, we are live. I'm sorry. Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been live for about 15 minutes. You didn't realize that?
No.
Okay.
Welcome to the stream.
Yeah.
I will take
Okay.
back anything. I will take back anything I said that seems strange or unusual for me anyway.
Didn't say anything strange or unusual, don't worry.
If you didn't say anything strange or unusual, I would have canceled you because I would have known somebody else was using your account. So, yeah. Yep, Slothgurl has been very busy. Even for the days when she was not feeling strong enough to really get out of her chair, she's been being very productive.
Not more productive than that.
Yep, so we'll be helping lots of veterans to keep their ears warm this winter.
Excellent.
Oh, right. I do not know why I did not hear ears there.
Yeah, I heard the other for a second too.
And these are double layered hats. I've got one that she made me a couple of years ago.
I do want to say I did not get to make peanut butter fudge today, but the plans for this evening just did not go well.
Today's a bit flat for you, or this evening.
It's mostly just the bank needs to tone down its cybersecurity about 50 notches.
Oh, what, are they not letting you log into your account with that 16-factor authentication?
Or it's like, oh, you got this one password wrong, or you have a new cell phone. We're not going to let you log in until you verify it. It's like, come on.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's infuriating because I don't think it really helps with security. It just makes it hard.
Security theater.
Actually, the one that I always found the most stupid is, it appears you have a new phone. Let us send a text to this phone number to verify it.
Yes.
And it's the old phone number.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's like, if they're sending a text to the phone that you're trying to log in on, how does that prove that's you and not somebody else trying to log into your account?
On their phone. Yeah.
You know, or if somebody's trying to use your phone because you left it in a restaurant and they found it. Okay. So that's just what Slothgurl has been doing. Ugh.
Busy little bee. What's that?
Oh. Yeah, I had to go out just before the show and move our van out of the parking lot so that they can snowplow in the morning.
Oh, we actually missed the snow. We got rain here.
I got some rain.
Well, we were supposed to get a bunch of snow, and then they downgraded it and said it wasn't going to be very much, and apparently then we did get what we were supposed to originally get that they said we weren't going to get. Because it was fairly deep out there. I was beginning to wonder if I was going to have to shovel around the van before I could get out of the parking space. But she pulled herself out okay. It still
Fortunately,
was, you know, quite a bit piled up on the windows, and just trying to brush it off enough just to move it. I got my gloves soaked.
Fortunately, it hasn't been snowing here, what with it being summer and all.
MB in Australia?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because you're doing everything backwards.
And upside down.
I have wondered what that's like, you know, for you to be doing Christmas in the middle of summer. Going out making sandcastles instead of snowmen, I guess.
If I was near a beach, yep.
Come on, that would be... Sorry. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's hard. It's weird for me to imagine Christmas at winter. Having grown up with Christmas at the right time of the year.
Fortunately, the cable I have this thing hooked up to won't let me take it very far.
Oh, so it's not quite going deep enough to see the individual pixels.
Hey, Rex.
All right.
Okay, Slothgurl, you're spelling it with I's. I was spelling it with E's.
Well, I'm okay.
You named our van BB.
Really, my van's name is Melissa Town and Country.
That's my arm.
Well, our hatchback that we had was named Amy. AIM-ME.
My cars usually get a name like some like first name and then what they are, like Sally Corsica, Esmeralda Oldsmobile. Except the Astro I had was just the Great White Beast.
Hey, Maya. Yeah, all of my cars get a name. I had one car that was not telling me what its name was. So, it never got a proper name. We just referred to her as the obstinate bitch. Which tells you about how reliable she was.
Was Slothgurl calling the car that, or was she calling you that?
No. That was when I was with my ex.
Was your ex calling the car that, or you that?
No, I was calling the car that. Although, yeah, I did call my ex similar things, but
No, I was supposed to take someone out to see lights tonight, but that didn't happen. But I did have to go drive around to see some lights because my battery decided it wouldn't start because I was trying to pick up evaporated milk and some supplies to make peanut butter fudge, and I was thinking I'd be able to move the funds around on my cell phone, and I should have done it when I was on my computer earlier.
yeah.
Nope, not peppercorn.
Yeah, that's we were supposed to go out and do some shopping to buy the stuff for our Yule celebration next week. But Slothgurl sent me a text, from her window she can see the main street, and said that they hadn't plowed the main street yet, so
Actually, I
we'll
may have
just wait until tomorrow when everything's plowed out.
may have to actually get a picture of this stuff. This will be interesting. Any more guesses?
What?
Bird poop?
Nope, not bird poop.
No, still
Tiny,
some kind of
tiny
seeds,
sheep poop.
but I don't know enough about plants to say what.
It is definitely a seed. A little dusty too, by the looks of it.
The seed of the holy hand grenade of Antioch.
Well, I was wondering about the white and wondering if that was just dust or if there was possibly some mold there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of dust on there. They've been sitting around for a while.
Is it just a grass seed?
Nope.
No.
It's in the brassica family.
That doesn't help. I don't know plant families at all.
Me neither.
Well, there's the Smiths, the Joneses, the Bobs.
All right, it's mustard, or specifically the red mustard.
So if you plant it, does it grow faith?
No, it's too big. It needs to be a smaller mustard seed to have faith.
Okay, Slothgurl, it's a farro seed. Hey, Vonrek. Haven't seen you about in a while.
That's funny.
Hello, Vonrek. Now these
So
are
as So, as someone who's been in IT and does have some experience being a cat that people are trying to herd, has anyone ever had success herding cats?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's how I got to be known for organizing things in the pagan community, and that's about the same as herding cats.
Get this thing to focus.
Yeah, my Mage is just playing with his new microscope, showing us things out of his garden.
If I can get this thing to focus.
Okay, well, apparently you're good at lurking because I haven't seen much of you.
There are.
I do thank you on every show for continuing to support me on Patreon.
Yes, and these seeds are actually smaller than the mustard seed.
Okay, those are actually seeds.
Yep.
At first I thought it was just some kind of gravel.
So yeah, I thought it was some sort of like earth type thing too. What type of seeds are they?
These are Egyptian spinach.
Well, I knew
You probably wouldn't guess what that one was, so.
I knew that the mustard seed wasn't the smallest
Okay.
seed. It's just, that's the actual quote.
Egyptian spinach, so I suppose that explains the pyramid shapes.
Yeah. That stuff actually comes from
Sloth.
Egypt.
So why are the pyramids in Egypt?
Just where the aliens
Because
landed,
They were too heavy
obviously.
to move them to Europe.
Yeah, because they were too heavy to move them to Great Britain.
Yep. Yeah, see, Vonrek gets it, that for herding cats, you can't chase cats, you have to lead them. You have to be carrying something they want and get them to follow you.
The thing is, I can get Athena to come to the bag of treats, but she doesn't like the treats I have for her right now. I'll have to get her new treats next time.
I found
what
a new
treat?
treat for Sammy last night. Apparently he loves barbecued potato chips.
Oh.
Well, I like treats that serve a dual purpose, and I got ones that are supposed to clean her teeth. And apparently she doesn't like having this particular brand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got proper kitty treats for him too. That every time I go in the kitchen, he sits there by the closet door and watches me in the kitchen, wondering whether or not I'm going to give him some treats this time. I got him little puzzle boxes. I try to make him at least put in a little effort for the treats now.
But then I think for Athena, I think the best treat is when I turn my back and walk away so she can attack my feet.
I take it that's one of your birdie's feathers.
Yes.
Looks very pretty.
Yep.
So how does it feel to own a pet dinosaur?
I like it. Dinosaurs are cool.
For the record, it was kind of cool being a pet dinosaur too.
Who was your owner?
My late fiance.
Oh,
House pet's a pretty sweet gig if you can get it.
yep. Do you have any owners for the millions of years before that?
Nope. No, the only one I had that kind of relationship with, and yeah, it's unlikely I would ever do that again, but you have to be very careful about who you pick.
Yep. Or whose nose you pick.
Well, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Unfortunately.
Even if they ask for your help when they're trying to decide on rhinoplasty?
Well, ultimately, it's still their decision. Unless they have given you power of attorney.
Good point.
Well, if you have a medical proxy and they're unconscious from a car accident.
But I really don't think you'd be getting rhinoplasty for that in most circumstances.
Well, I was thinking facial reconstruction.
I didn't say it was impossible. I just said in most circumstances, probably not.
Yes, bird fur.
Bird, are feathers made out of keratin?
I
think
believe so.
Yes.
It's the
Feathers are actually a kind of advanced scale. So, yeah, they're made out of keratin, the same as scales and fingernails. There's Jenny.
Hi.
So,
Hi.
You'll have to forgive
Hi,
me.
Jim.
My herd of cats got loose, and I just wasn't able to get them all that fast. Sorry.
Well, you need a smaller herd. The best size cat herd is 1.
That's
Actually, I
I had
disagree.
6.
I actually feel that if you have 2 or 3 cats, they will get in less trouble than one alone who's bored.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a catteteer.
Yep. Well, that's after I'm done with all the holiday stuff in January, I'm definitely going to go to the shelter and try to find a companion for Sammy. Because he's gotten more energy, and I don't have the energy to play with him often enough, so
Yeah.
that's rather
he
fascinating.
needs somebody to play with.
Get 2. Then you got a companion and dinner.
No. Oh, actually, I would get 2, but my lease says I'm limited to only having a maximum of 2 animals in this apartment, so.
Oh, so technically it's you and the cat, is it? Never mind.
Well, remember, a kitten is a small homicidal muffin on legs.
So homicidal what?
A small homicidal muffin on legs.
Oh, muffin. Okay.
They are not homicidal.
Yes, they are.
They do
Yes,
not
they
want
are.
to kill you because then they know they'd have to clean their own litter box.
No, they just use your bed. Then they use the couch. They use the chair.
If they're big enough, they just eat you.
Every plant in the house. Kitchen
Hey,
counters.
Junie.
Any small animals?
So,
Yeah, Sammy does tend to eat the plants. That's why I don't have any. Anytime I've tried to have a plant, Sammy decides it's a salad bar.
Interesting.
Actually, I remember one time my sister had a problem with houseplants with one of her cats. So she bought some grass that's specifically for the cat to eat. And the cat, of course, wouldn't touch it.
yeah.
Yeah, Tasha did the same thing, that the cat grass was the only thing she wouldn't eat.
Also advertising.
Actually, I do have some grass seed that I've been meaning to set up another cat grass thing for Sammy. I used to have that for him. I haven't had it growing in a while. But I used to have 2 buckets of it that I kept rotating when he grazed one down too far. Is good for him.
So I gotta ask, how many of you are in this includes chat? You guys just jump in if you want. How many of the Trump collecting cards are you going to get? Hey.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
Oh, I just gotta get them all.
This is the first time I've heard of
Yep. Somebody has actually come out with an official set of MAGA collector cards.
Oh, no. Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't see this, did you? Sorry.
Pro or anti?
Trump has decided that he's going to come up with a set of digital NFT trading cards for $99 each. And that was his big announcement for today.
They're basically images is where he's flaying himself.
So they're not even cards. You don't even need to buy them. All you need to do is right click and select save as.
Yep, basically.
Everyone
but you don't own
is trying to look like a superhero.
But you don't own the special code that goes with it. And
Okay. I saw something on Twitter about Trump NFTs, but I didn't understand what that was about.
Yeah. It's just so tacky, so completely embarrassing for him as a former president to do this kind of shit. It's like, come on, man, go to the bowling alley and toss a few games, hey?
You can't tell me you never bought all of Obama's NFT cards.
No, I'm afraid I didn't. I know I had the chance, but yeah.
No, I think
I did get an Obama hat though. I haven't seen it in years, but I have one.
I did at some point want to buy a hat that looked like a MAGA hat that just said "Be a nice human being."
Yeah.
oh, by the way, this is a feather from a late cockatiel.
Oh, that's not your current bird.
No. It's interesting how the feather strands are finer on the cockatiels than the sun conures.
What type of bird is your current bird?
He's a sun conure.
Oh, haven't heard of that before.
I can't wait till somebody turns out a parody of the Trump cards. You know, it's going to happen.
Oh,
it'll be there by tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've already seen some.
I mean, it is just an incredibly stupid idea.
Well, NFTs are anyway, but yeah.
Well, you know, Ivanka went into dealing NFTs, didn't you?
I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Of course, both of them are late to it, but
Well, every NFT has been out there has lost value.
oh yeah, huge value. Well, I'm just glad he has another business to run into the dirt.
Yeah, another scam.
Hey, let's be fair. Trump has done a much better job of running Truth Social than Elon has of running Twitter.
Has he?
I'm not sure about
I don't
that.
accept that because I cannot imagine that Trump is running anything at social.
I didn't say he was running it well. I just said he was doing better than Elon was.
Yeah, but I don't think Trump's making any decisions there.
And that would be much better for Elon to be doing.
Well,
yeah, Elon needs to be hands off of this thing. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
It came to the forefront today that apparently Elon has been making lists of liberal journalists and has started to close their accounts.
That's not actually new.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, today he banned the Elon Jet account.
And also joined Mastodon.
Elon joined Mastodon?
No, he
Elon
banned
Jet account.
the Elon banned the Elon Jet and the Mastodon account on Twitter.
Okay, well, Elon's Jet is just somebody who's going to use the flight records to keep track of where he's going.
The public records, yes. And he said that anyone who posts any link to it or is going to be banned, which is probably why Mastodon got kicked off too.
Right. So, yeah, Elon's thing about public information and all this, that anyone who shares public information will be banned from his site now.
A crybaby.
Who shares public information?
I don't think that was the right wording. He doesn't like. He is afraid that people are going to assassinate him or something. It's like,
Well, don't go on a plane then.
Well, it is that the information about his jet is public records.
Oh, the whole doxing thing, or if you share where somebody is currently, you get kicked off, or something
You get
like that.
perma-banned, apparently, yeah.
No, it's not my toenail.
Is it my toenail?
How could it be your toenail?
I don't know. What have you been doing to my feet at night?
Why are we looking at your toenail, for Christ's sake?
It's not a toenail.
My toenail is a beautiful toenail.
No, it's not.
You have
Yep.
no taste.
If your toenail looks like that, you need to go seek a medical doctor.
actually, toenail fungus is not really harmful.
Is it maybe a bit of cuddle bone that your bird's been chewing on?
Nope.
It's a piece of coconut.
Nope.
I was
That's
gonna-
closer.
I was going to suggest that after, but you beat me to it. Pear?
Nope.
The pin for the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch?
No.
I'm just going to guess that every time tonight because I have no idea what it is.
It's a slice of almond.
Ah, of course.
It's what I give to my bird as a treat.
That's what I give myself.
Hey, my toenails are made out of almond. So you have stolen it.
So we're looking at live magnified images here. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yep.
You guys really got to learn to, catch people up and, say a few sentences.
That's why we got you to say that.
Well, it's some kind of plant.
Yep. I don't remember exactly which it is. I just remember the family.
Well, let's see the end of it. Keep going.
Well, it's not gonna. You're gonna see anything. It's just a cut off piece on both ends.
Reminds me of asparagus.
Nope, not asparagus. So then you guess the family.
Well, it's a squash.
Nope.
No,
The Addams Family.
but it's got that squarish thing, that squarish shape.
Speaking of which, have you guys seen Wednesday?
I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Not yet.
But so far I've liked it.
What's it on?
It's on
Netflix.
yeah,
I'm sorry, what?
Netflix.
Okay.
Oh, neat. You can actually see the fibers in there.
Okay, so this is a plant stem from what?
That's what you're trying to
You
guess.
It's basically hollow.
Yeah, it's just some kind of a woody stalk, but I wouldn't know specifically what kind of plant.
Looks like something that would come from a milk.
Bamboo, maybe?
Nope. I wish. I
No.
would love to get some bamboo.
I thought bamboo was considered an invasive species.
Some
Wow.
might.
That would depend on where the bamboo is growing.
I don't think it's invasive in Florida, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
But
Is this a vegetable or a weed?
a vegetable.
Okay.
Cucumber, squash?
Nope.
I thought about the only difference between a vegetable and a weed is whether or not you liked eating it.
The explosive components of the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch?
It's a zucchini. Come on.
Nope.
Rotten celery.
No. It's dried out.
Athena just informed me that the only vegetable worth eating is tuna.
Fair
Pretty
enough.
sure that's not a vegetable.
I'm pretty sure she doesn't care.
Yeah,
Oh.
vegetables can't swim away.
And catnip. She'll eat catnip.
Oh, have you actually seen a tuna? Do you know how big those fucking things are?
Tunas are huge.
Yeah.
Oh, there's different varieties.
Well, the bluefin
species.
tunas get to be up to 600 pounds. So, yeah, you're talking about something in the same weight class as a bear.
Hmm. Oh, hey everybody.
Ma-
Sorry, my
All right,
bad.
well, all right. Then answer
Hello.
me this. You got to fight a tuna and a bear. Who wins?
Well, I'll
Depends
fight
on
the
who
tuna
you
on
are. If
land.
you are, yeah,
The tuna, because the bear drowns.
yeah. A bear
you're
wins
right.
on land every time. A tuna, probably in the water. Yeah.
I don't know. Bears chow down on a lot of salmon. They're pretty good
Yep.
at fish.
Yeah, but the salmon aren't quite as big as the bear. I think that'd make a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
Well, species.
Well,
of
And
tuna.
salmon aren't in the deep ocean.
Well, let's say that you weigh 200 pounds. How much of a piece of work would you be for a bear? Not much.
Yeah, I'd be
And a
like
tuna
one.
doesn't even have arms.
You know, I remember my dad went to this one pet stores. They had exotic animals there, and one time they actually had a bear. They
What?
sold these animals. They sold these animals to like circuses and stuff, but it was like a long time ago. And this bear had this big old old-fashioned metal bathtub. My dad watched the thing, pick up the tub, and throw it across the enclosure.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And the guy running the store was like, "Oh yeah, that's his toy. He likes to throw it around."
Hey, bears are no joke. Bears are no joke. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. I have had a couple of close-up encounters with them.
There's
I've
a
had
reason. There's a reason they don't let bears in shopping malls. Okay, that's all I can say.
I've had a friend get killed by a bear before, so
Bill, jeez.
Ow.
Actually, I have a story about a bear, but the Pennsylvania black bear will generally leave humans alone
Hmm.
because it's not like a grizzly or a polar bear or a
Yeah,
Kodiak
most
bear.
bears would rather avoid humans. Even
Yeah.
the big ones will avoid humans unless they're like really starving or you're in their territory.
Or between you and their cubs.
anyway,
Yeah.
if you're wondering, that was a brassica. I just don't remember which brassica.
Well, now
Okay.
you can't go picking vegetables that none of us have ever heard of.
Yeah, you've given me a name for it, but that still doesn't tell me what it was.
Either broccoli, kale.
Kale. God damn. Fuck kale.
But broccoli, kale, and cabbage are all the same species.
No, kale is
Yeah, they're all
actually good
brassicas.
if you prepare it right.
Kale can be
Remember-
good. In fact, I'm growing
In-
2 different varieties of kale in my garden.
I'm sorry, Sammy.
Ooh.
Oh, I have annoyed Sammy because my leg was cramping up and I had to move it.
And wasn't there some like creationist who was trying to say like broccoli couldn't have evolved not
Yep.
knowing?
Ray Comfort, the same guy who did the banana thing.
Oh, the banana man? Yeah.
Let's hear what they were about to say.
What did Ray Comfort say about broccoli or whatever?
Actually, I think that was
Something
Kent Hovind.
That was Ken Hovind, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Oh.
Well,
They
what
said
did they
something.
say?
He claimed that broccoli couldn't have evolved naturally.
Wait,
What?
Because
Which
it
it did.
freaking
Right.
didn't.
Didn't. It is the result of 1,000 years of selective breeding.
Oh, good God. Now,
well, I mean, to be fair, all bananas that we eat today are clones.
yeah.
Yep.
They're
Yes.
clones
Yeah.
of one plant. Yeah.
They're cloned hybrids.
Well, Red Comfort's claim was that the current banana was designed by God to be perfect for human consumption.
Yep.
I thought it was
Perfect.
perfect for human anuses.
In fact, I was doing
Sorry.
some preliminary research on the evolution of the banana.
Oh,
Not
they
getting
used
very
to
far
have
now.
seeds. Yeah, bananas used to have seeds in them. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they used to have huge hard seeds. There
fact-
wasn't really much soft flesh to them at all.
Some varieties of
Very
bananas still
starchy.
have. Some variety of bananas still have the large seeds.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, I have some. I've never planted them though. I have the pink banana.
Mage,
but-
what's the...
A banana tree looks a lot like a palm tree, right?
Yeah.
No, it's actually not a tree at all. In fact,
Are we supposed to?
The
by the
bush.
way,
Well, it's not a
Are we
tree,
supposed
but
to-
it looks like one, though.
are we supposed
Yeah.
to look at this chip and tell you what the account number is, or what?
no.
I'm wanting to know what the PIN number is so we know how to use it.
I don't think you could use this thing anyway.
Why not?
Well, it's my old Verizon card.
Oh, it's a SIM card, is it?
Yeah, it's the old SIM card. It's from my old phone.
Junie, stop that.
I don't know. I've seen at least one or two of what she's thinking of that don't fit very well in the hand and the mouth.
It's a family show, come on.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
still they feel good.
Somewhere floating around the internet, there is a video of me doing the classic banana trick from about 20 years ago.
And what is that?
Peeling a banana, swallowing the whole thing, and bringing the whole thing back up unbroken.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Ew.
It's
I do
downright
not want to do that.
pornographic.
Yeah, I do not want to see that.
I wouldn't even want to see that for free. Much less.
Pornographic wouldn't be the way I'd describe that.
I must be the only person who wants to see that.
Well, have at it.
It was a trick that porno stars in the 70s did to show off.
Well, make sure you message me the video link.
Yeah.
I don't
may-
have a link for it anymore. I don't even have access to the account it was posted from.
Mage, that nobody is going to guess this. Come on. It's just a piece of black something.
It's just a river rock.
It's Formica.
I don't know what type of rock it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
send
I
it
was
to
gonna
Steve
say-
Bauman and ask him.
That's all.
Well, I was going to say it's like a space picture, but you know.
Yeah, you
It
could
does
make
kind
a
of
Yeah,
look like
the Pleiades.
yeah, you could make a space picture out of that.
Little quartzy things.
Yeah, I could see you using that for a background.
Yeah.
Or you could go outside and just take a picture of this actual sky and use that.
I might
Well,
actually
unless
be
you
able
live
to do
in a
that with
city.
this. There is an app I can pair this thing with my phone, so I can actually take it outside and, as far as I know, I can take it outside and get actual shots from the garden directly. I might have to play around with that.
Yeah, well, that'll be much more dependent on the resolution of your phone's camera.
Actually, I think
Show us your pubic hair.
no, I don't think I can show that on stream.
Why not?
If it was a single hair, I don't think the bots would catch it. But
Just say it's beard hair.
If it was a clump of hair or the hair going into the skin, it's not what's considered obscene. Gee whiz. Guys, come on, take a risk.
yep.
All right, I must have lost sound there. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to you.
Well, I'm thinking someone may object to tonight's topic title, Athena. But have I ever attempted to hurt you? Come on up, Athena.
I heard her in one of the previous streams.
Oh, that's one of your Viagra's, huh?
No, it's not Viagra.
Oh,
It's your titty Skittles.
yeah, that was my next guess.
Well, I could go on WebMD and punch the number and then find out what it is.
We used to identify pills for people who would call in with them and give you a verbal description over the phone.
Jeez.
And we would determine what pill it is. And most of the time we were able to do it.
It's white and it's round.
Well, yep.
Well, then you got to start asking them questions. Okay, well, it's got like a line across it. Well, is the line deep? Is the line shallow? Is the line got angles on it, or is it like real thin? There's a lot of ways you can describe a pill. What's the number on it? What kind of script does that number have on it? Is it a stylized M or just a regular M? There's lots of ways you can do that.
I think that number does mean something about the type of pill it is, though, if I recall.
It absolutely does. It's absolutely an ID.
So anybody wants to Google that, they can, or just guess it.
Well, if it's a non-prescription pill, I'm gonna guess it's naproxen.
Yep, that is correct. That's what I have to take every night.
Oh, I was going to say, isn't that the number of the alien planet? And no, it's not. I was wrong.
Hey, speaking of alien planets, did any of you watch Kate Farr's Redshift animation video that she just
not
Twin Redshift, yes.
Not yet, actually. I was not online all day until about an hour before
really
we started here.
I've watched it twice.
I mean, she's obviously not a writer or a plot maven. So the plot is a little light and stuff, but the animation work is very, very good, and it's consistent throughout the whole thing. It's expertly done.
Well, even from her shorts that she did, some years ago, I was telling her that she should have submitted some of that stuff to Adult Swim. That I thought they would use some of her shorts for the bumpers between shows.
Well, from what I hear of her Adult Swim, she might not be the right gender.
I did not know that was an issue there.
It is for some of them, but
it's a battery.
Yep. Can you guess what type?
AAA.
A dead one.
Actually, it might be dead.
Yeah, a corroded battery. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this is dead. It's not AAA. Close though.
If your tongue was long enough, you could test to see if it's dead.
I have a battery tester. I can test these.
Yeah, but that's no fun. That's like one of my favorite photographs I've ever seen on the internet is when somebody had one of those septum piercings, let's shaped like a little horseshoe through your nose. And obviously asleep, and somebody's holding a 9-volt battery just ready to make contact.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I have to go to work. I have to go to work tomorrow, but depending on how far into Pennsylvania I am next week, I may be able to join then. Hopefully I'll be done by my travel by then, but I don't know what I'm going to hit once I hit the Alleghenies because the weather can get wild there, especially in the winter.
Well, you take care, Porpoise. And I feel on the whole,
you take real good care. There's some nasty fucking weather coming at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel you on the IT shit because the first thing I asked anybody whenever they called me up for IT support was, "Have you turned it off and turned it back on yet?"
Always the first thing to ask.
Oh, Have you unplugged it and plugged it back in?
Most people are interested in my advice after I say it's like I can solve all your Windows problems, but then they lose interest when I tell them how I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Windows is crap. I mean, it is total crap.
Yeah, well, they don't like the idea that I can solve other Windows problems by installing Linux.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet they don't.
Have you tried Linux yet?
Right. Have a good night,
No.
everyone.
Later.
All right.
Good night. Have a good sleep.
The most reassuring message I have ever gotten from Windows is every time it does an update now, it tells me that the system is not capable of supporting Windows 11.
Oh, see, that's why I have not turned on my desktop yet, because I'm pretty fucking sure that there's Windows 11 on there, and I don't want to fuck with that shit. Paid $500 for the desktop, but I don't want to fuck with that. It'll take 2 months to get the shit straight.
Yeah, well, my new one's got the Windows 10 on it. I'm still porting stuff over, so I'm not using it a lot yet. But
You guys in your window machines. It's so funny to hear you whine.
you would rather I buy a Mac and whine about that?
You know, you don't
Oh
have to
my
whine when you have a Mac because they just take care of everything correctly. The stuff works on a Mac. It doesn't crash.
Yeah, but they cost 3 times as much.
Change settings on you and all this crap that people are always complaining about.
Can't modify it as much as Linux, though.
And a Mac,
Yeah,
if you have it set to automatic updates, it does it at 3 a.m. when you're asleep. Not in the middle of a project that you have a deadline.
I might not be asleep.
Which does it do it at 3 a.m. or when I'm asleep now? That's actually one of the problems I'm having with Windows, is it says that it's going to shut down and run the update during inactive hours. And it's like, my computer doesn't have inactive hours. When I go to sleep, I leave it running a playlist, so I've got something to listen to for the gaps in between when I'm awake.
Do you have a phone?
Yeah.
Would listening to the phone while the computer updates be any use?
Yeah, but the point is, if Windows shuts down, it's not going to restart the playlist again. I'm going to have to get up and get out of bed to do that.
I have my phone near my head, and I have it playing Tibetan singing bowls with thunderstorms and behind it.
Oh, that whole and then you got the thunderstorms coming in behind it. Yeah, okay.
No, singing bowls are more like a champagne glass that you run your finger around, except not that shrill.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay, I got you.
Oh, okay. For a moment, I thought you were talking about those instruments that look like woks.
Well,
I don't know all the
Franklin,
shapes for Tibetan bowls, but possibly they could be that shallow.
Ben Franklin patented a musical instrument he called the glass harmonica. That was basically the same principle. It was a stack of bowls, different sized bowls full of water that you played by running your fingers around the rim.
Funny how he was never president, but he landed on the $100 bill. Funny that.
Yep.
Well, he had sex with the right people at the right time. That's what they did.
Oh, he went to France. He went to France and fucked everybody. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how we got the support of the French in the Revolutionary War.
Yep.
Was mostly from Ben Franklin going over there.
Was the Revolutionary War before or after the Indian War, French Indian War?
The French Indian War, I think, came later because wasn't that
before?
the
Yeah,
1800s?
I think
Something
before.
like that. Yeah.
Right.
They're very close together. I'm sure. I thought Indian War was like 1780s and that sort of time.
I think the Indian War was part of, in the rest of the world, was part of the 7-Year War.
Or wait a minute, wasn't the?
Oh no. Okay, French Indian War was 1754 to 1763. So that puts it about 14 years before the Revolution.
Ah, interesting. So the French must have. Maybe the French didn't mind joining sides because it was under the US was under British control, and because it was against the British, they were happy to join in to fight it.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was
that's
thinking.
pretty much it. The French just wanted an excuse to shoot at the British.
Who doesn't?
No, the British were trying to boot them out of Canada so that they could claim it for their own.
Yep.
Well, they have succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they
Except-
lost Ontario, but you know,
Yeah,
hey,
except for
whatever.
Quebec.
Quebec. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking for.
Ben Franklin also used his personal fortune to hire a fleet of pirate ships, specifically with the agreement that they would attack the British and leave the French alone.
Yeah.
Were they called? Were they called privateers, or was there another word used for them?
You know, privateers were usually the pirates that were for hire.
Yep, and most pirates were pirates for hire.
Yeah, basically mercenaries. Yeah. They
Well,
were
Because they didn't have enough money to have a proper navy.
They're also called Hey Girl.
Well, for the privateers, it was a lot safer because, you know, if they were allied with at least one nation, at least they had some place they could bring their ships into ports for supplies and repairs.
Yeah. 1 minute, it'd be different for the Caribbean ships, wouldn't it? Though, like the Caribbean pirates.
Oh,
Well,
hey,
there was a lot
Jack
of that
Sparrow.
going on down there too, just because, you know, the various islands were controlled by the different nations.
Yeah, Jack Sparrow. I mean, come on.
Oh, you've seen that documentary, have you?
Now, I have. I've seen all of them, and the last few sucked.
I've only seen the
saw,
first three.
The first three. I didn't see the rest of them.
Yeah, the rest of them sucked. Don't even waste your time. Yeah.
That bad, huh?
Well, you got the worst thing about those films is you got to put up with Johnny Depp.
Well, I have to say, as the character he played in them, he was entertaining as that character.
Yeah, and you had what's his name? Keith Richards played his dad. And that was funny as hell. That might have been in the 4th or 5th movie. I don't know.
Keith Richards would play God's dad.
That was in either the second or the third movie.
Okay, good night, Commander 401.
Yep.
Because he.
Good night, 401. I mean, don't worry about it. I always say that if you can get good sleep, it's more important than anything I'm doing.
Boy, I got a little something I got to talk about.
Okay.
This is just a sad tale about how some people's lives just really goddamn suck.
We're not going to talk about Vaughn, are we? Because fuck that guy.
Who? No, a friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
His name's Bill.
Go ahead, Jenny.
He's my age. We've known each other, oh God, 40 some years now, 45, 46, something like that. And when I first got to know him, he was in the car business, same as I was, except he was in the bodywork end of it. And he had this relationship with a guy, business relationship with a guy who ultimately ended up screwing the fuck out of Bill, taking all his money and taking the whole business away from him, which kind of happened to me too. Anyways, so that was the first thing that happened in his life that was really fucked. Then he had a bunch of family things with various relatives being abusive and things like that, and people dying prematurely and that kind of stuff. And so that was another thing that followed him for a number of years. Then he finally gets married, and he meets this lovely woman and gets married, and they have a very good relationship, and are nice and stable, and they bought a nice house, and they had a really good kid who was great in school, now working for the State Department. And he got screwed by another boss. It wasn't about a partnership thing this time. It was just somebody who was not paying him his proper overtime and things like that, and just cheated the fuck out of him. Fortunately, that guy went out of business because he deserved it. But so that was another thing, and Bill, a two-income family. He lost income for a while, and they almost lost their house, and all that stress. And it sucks. Now, Bill, you got to know that Bill is this. He's just one of the nicest people you will ever meet. And even though he's an atheist type person, he's always doing these very godly things about, volunteering his time and helping people, total strangers, and
Humanitarian.
just all this goodness wrapped in a human form. And his wife's like that too. Then he comes up with kidney disease, not unlike Diana.
Mm-hmm.
And he was how old was he when it started? I think he was about 40, before he was 45. And that went on for years and years and years. And he finally ended up on dialysis, just like Diana. And he got sicker and sicker and sicker. And then finally, he gets a kidney transplant. And it just made all the difference in the world for him. And something I should also mention about him is that during all this time that he was sick as a dog, he continued to be, he was an athlete. He was a runner. And he would do marathons and shit, that kind of shit. And, just really challenge life and stuff. And then after he gets the kidney, he was at this marathon. It was a triathlon, with bike, swimming and running and stuff. Mm-hmm. And somebody ran into him on his bike and fractured his hip. Which is awful unusual for somebody that young. And so he had to have both his hips replaced on an emergency basis, which is, I guarantee you, no damn fun. I've had that done myself, and it's horrible. But he recovered from that, and he got his ass back out there and was running and doing marathons again. Sometimes a couple marathons a week, during the season. His wife is all supportive and all this kind of stuff.
Makes a huge difference to have a supportive partner.
Yeah. And today I found out he has cancer. And it's liver cancer. And it's not looking very good.
Damn.
And it's just so sad. So if any of you out there are pray and stuff and believe in powers and spirits and all that kind of stuff, send some good vibes to Port Washington, Wisconsin, to Bill. And he sure could use your help.
Sorry, sounds like it's hitting you pretty hard too.
Yeah.
Bill was like a brother that I didn't get to see as often as I wanted. We were very close, very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
He was extremely supportive of me through my transition. And, you know, it's just a good damn guy. I built him his race car engine. It was the last engine I built before I left my shop. And we just did shit on cars all the time. It was a good memory. So I'm going to have to head home and go see him. Because you never know what's going to happen to somebody when they end up with this shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring everybody down. I thought I was going to be able to tell it without.
Oh no. Hey,
being so sad and maudlin,
but you don't need to apologize for having emotions. You know, this is somebody you're very close to, that you're very concerned about. There's nothing wrong with you, being sad and crying about it.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing wrong to just show that you have normal human emotions sometimes. Hey, Doc. Oh. Sorry, just a stretch. So. So, next Wednesday is going to be the Yule.
Oop.
So Slothgurl and I were
the me? What?
Yule.
Yeah, the me?
No. Yule.
Oh, Uli. Okay.
Yeah, the holiday that they commandeered to build Christmas around. So the winter solstice. So Slothgurl and I were setting things up to have our celebration. That her kids and their friends were going to be coming for that.
I'll be doing the traditional thing and worshipping Santa.
Well, I'll be doing my traditional thing and doing my my candle ritual to keep a flame burning from sunset to sunrise.
Oh, I do that on Halloween.
What's the like effect / intent of the candle ritual?
Well, basically, it's reflecting on how people had to live before we had things like central heating and electricity and such.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
When the whole world was Amish.
Yeah. If you can keep your flame burning through the longest night of the year, then you should be able to do it at any time. But it also goes back to something my grandmother used to say, that she always left a lantern burning in the porch in case there was a storm, and if somebody was like lost in the storm, that they would see a light and know there was a house to come to. And in her day, that was a normal thing, and there were a number of occasions that she got up in the morning to find a stranger sleeping on the couch. But somebody who might not have made it through the night if they hadn't seen that light.
Wow.
I remember my grandpa telling me a story of when he was a kid, which would have placed it, like late 1800s. And weather was different then. We actually had weather, and blizzards were pretty goddamn intense on the plains. And there wasn't electricity, and there wasn't cars and all that kind of stuff. And he said they used to have to tie a rope between the house and the barn because he had to go feed the animals. Because the blizzard was so bad you couldn't necessarily find your way back.
Yeah.
To the house. And,
sounds like a good excuse to stay with the animals all night.
Well, I don't know. If I had a wife, I think I'd rather stay with her. Cows are okay, but
take the wife out with you.
To what you can do with a cow.
You just not been experimental enough.
I know.
Yeah, I do draw the line there.
I'm sorry.
I'm open to every gender, but I do draw the line that it has to be my own species.
If I want to experiment with bestiality, I'll call Trump.
Oh God. No, you couldn't sink that low.
You'd have to find it first.
That'd be more like xenophilia.
Well, Jenni, Doc and Junie are sending you well wishes about getting emotional about your friend. Or should we just say your brother?
Well, we haven't lost him yet. He's chugging away, and his personal record is that he beats this shit. So we're all hoping, but
yeah, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, liver cancer is one of those that a lot of people don't survive.
Well,
liver and pancreas.
And you worry just because of the uncertainty. It's where I'm at with Slothgurl now too. It's like she seems to be doing okay right now, but
never know when it could turn.
Yeah,
that can change overnight with cancer.
Yeah, you never know with her next checkup if it's going to be better or worse.
So what do people do for Christmas these days? What's a typical celebration of a single person out in society, or a small family or something like that? What do folks do these days?
For me, it's avoid it.
Really?
Yeah, unless I'm having a really good, like I'm in a really good mood, I tend to find myself anxious, and because of it being a social thing and a present giving thing and what.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I like to give people presents. I've been putting together a gift basket for my family. Everybody gets to pick a few things out of it.
Well, and Mage sent me a Lego dragon off of my wish list. Well, for me, since I do the all-night candle ritual anyway, I like to, if I can, have a couple people around and just, we play games all night, and instead of like really making a big holiday meal, we just make a bunch of appetizer trays and just nibble all night long.
Yeah, I sent something to everybody I had a wish list for, which reminds me, Junie, you need to set up a address for your wish list.
Yeah, I saw that. I couldn't send anything to Jenni.
Basically, you want to go it's up to the 3 dots. It's under whatever wish list you have. Pull it down, go to manage list, and then you can put in your address. It's there. I recommend creating a new address so you don't have your real name under it. Just basically create the address, just put in whatever fake name you want along with your real address, and then they'll show up fine.
Yeah, we just got the Amazon lockers installed here. So the building manager, was asking about, with my name change, about what name to put on the locker, and I told her that she had to put Purple on it as well, because I've occasionally been getting packages coming here to Purple, and they didn't know which apartment they went to.
Good thing to mention.
Yeah, it's all set up now.
I hope there aren't too many people named Purple there.
Purple's a cool name.
Yep.
I also always like Blue.
It is.
Blue is a good name. And then there's red. Let's see. There's blue, red. I've never known any green or yellow.
Well, there were those 2 guys from that TV show, Red and Green.
Red Green show?
Yep.
There was one guy.
Well, it's
His
pretty
name
neat
was Red Green.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat that your apartment has lockers for Amazon drop-offs.
Well, they just installed those last month.
Now, are they from Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, Amazon has installed these computerized lockers so that when you get a delivery, it sends a code to your phone, and you go punch in the code in the keypad, and it automatically opens the right door.
Oh. And they're doing that specifically for apartment buildings, or?
Well, usually I had known them to be actually, putting them like in malls and, like in shopping centers. I didn't know they were putting them in private buildings, but apparently, if they feel we've got, a high enough volume of packages to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Well, I really got to give them credit for that because, with porch pirates being such a problem these days.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why they've been doing it because, because people are worried about the porch pirates. I'm sure it cuts into their business.
Yeah,
people are more reluctant to order.
Yeah, that and they have to refund it too. They can if people report it stolen.
Yeah, so it's been costing them money.
I'm really pleased that I live where I live here in the little bitty town of Houston. You can get shit on your Amazon porch. I mean, I've seen places get boxes, 5-6 boxes all stacked up on their porch, and they can sit there all day, and nobody touches them.
Well, this building's been really good just because we've got, they've got cameras all over the building, so we haven't had problems with things going missing. Just because if they did, we just need to ask the building manager, and she can review the tape and tell you who walked away with it.
You have a link to your wish list, but there's no address associated with the wish list, so we can't send anything to you, Jenni.
Okay, I have to hang up my headset here for a minute, so I'll be listening, but be away from the controls for a little bit.
Amazon wish lists are kind of neat. Don't other places do those too?
I imagine there are other places that do wish lists. I have a wish list on Steam. You can actually buy people little games off of that. Or I think you're friended with.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I got an Amazon wish list, and I have a bunch of things that are on there that are like $900, $1,000, $20,000. Thinking you never know. Maybe Elon Musk will stop by and he'll buy me that Ferrari.
Yeah, I put a few. I put a few expensive things just to. I don't expect anyone to actually buy them. The Skits Crasher actually bought one of the most expensive things I had in my birthday list.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did you put
He's amazing.
Did you put Twitter on your birthday on your wish list? Maybe that's why Elon bought it for you.
Well, then he's blocked. He's blocked, and everyone on the right wing is blocked.
Unfortunately, with him owning Twitter, he can probably get around that easily.
Did you hear that he has had to sell off another, like, I don't know what it was, 40 million or something like that, shares of Tesla stock or something like that, some huge amount. It's the second or third time he's done it since he got Twitter.
Wow.
Losing its ass.
Oh, I'm so tearful for him.
And now the stockholders and SEC are starting to go, what's going on here? Oh, gee, Elon, you're going to lose your ass? I had this little fantasy over the last day or two. It really looks like the stars are lining up in such a manner that at some time within a day or two of each other in the near future, we will see Elon Musk and Donald Trump both go down and become broke. Wouldn't that be wonderful to happen at the same time?
That's a nice fantasy.
Well, broke in terms of a billionaire is a little bit different than broke in terms of everyone else.
No, I know. Still, it's their ego takes a hit.
Well, I know Elon's no longer the richest man in the world. He's set up to apparently drop down to 4th place if he keeps going the way he is.
Oh, 4th place?
He's in 2nd right now.
Who's the richest now?
I think his SpaceX partner. What was that?
No, some foreign guy.
So yeah, okay, it was foreign guy. Was he from France?
I think so.
Not SpaceX. It's the guy that co-founded Tesla.
Oh, Tesla. Okay.
I forget what his name is though.
Bob.
It does start with a B. I do know that.
I am wondering at this point, though, if some of the Republicans might be quietly cooperating behind the scenes with investigators, just because they kind of want to get Trump not to be running for president now, and that might be the only way that they can do it is if they can get him convicted of something.
Maybe.
Otherwise, he's likely to start his own, start a third party. And, take all of his MAGA voters with him. And that would basically assure that the Democrats would win in 2024.
Well, I hope he does it then.
Yeah, I hope he does too, but that's why I'm thinking it would actually be a wise strategy for the Republicans to, help with the January 6th investigation to make sure Trump gets convicted of something.
Yeah.
Because then he would be ineligible to run and the problem goes away for them.
Sorry, I had to break away. Weezer was on TV.
Oh, yeah, and Trump's big announcement. I think we were talking about that before we went live. About Trump's NFT cards.
I really thought his big news is that he was going to try to legitimately go for Speaker of the House or something equally as egotistical.
Well, he's already trying to run for president right again, so...
Yeah. Isn't Mike Lindell trying to push for being Speaker of the House?
Oh, yeah. I hope he wins.
With all of his batshit conspiracies.
What an odd person.
Well, and basically his whole business wound up being built on being Trump's best buddy. So with Trump going down, his business is tanking.
I don't think that's fair to say. He didn't build it on Trump at all. He built it all on his own, and it became a very successful company. But he decided to blow all the money on Trump. You know, I was actually considering buying one of them pillows at one point. Then I found out he was one of these evangelicals. I just can't support people like that.
Yeah.
What's so special?
Oh, he's a
about
pillow guy.
What's so special about his pillows anyway?
I have no idea. They're overpriced.
Yeah, I looked at him at one point and I was like, I could go to Target and buy basically the same pillow for half the price. So why?
I'm used to going to Target or somewhere and paying $6 and getting a pillow that lasts about 5 years.
What's the point of buying a cheap pillow? That's not going to show how conspicuously you consume.
I gotta get it.
I generally don't consume that thing.
Yeah, I gotta get myself another one of those contour pillows. My old one finally gave out on me.
There was one pillow I see going around on the net right now. They say it's got grooves. It's like it's got a notch for your arm if you're a side sleeper, and all that. It's designed for a side sleeper type person, and that's me. And my shoulder, it gets funky sometimes, and it's supposed to help alleviate that kind of shit.
Yeah, I need something to support my neck. So they like those contour pillows for.
Yeah, it's become more and more a problem for me of waking up with leg pains. I think I'm just not having good circulation in my legs when I'm sleeping.
I got my giant teddy bear for that. He puts his arm under my neck.
Yeah, I've been taking a blanket and rolling it up and putting it on my neck.
I've got one of those body pillows, which Sammy also loves that because, then he's got a really super soft spot right between my elbow and my knee that he can sleep in.
Those body pillows are pretty nice if you're a side sleeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to sleep with a pillow between my legs.
They're just a bit of a pain when you roll over in the night and you have to reposition everything.
They should sell them celebrity body pillows. Print your favorite celebrity on your pillow.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have something like that somewhere.
Not only do they have those, there are places that will custom print them. So if you want to, you can go buy one with Cirrus.
I saw
It's one of the things that Cirrus sells through his merch store.
I saw a Euryptrid, extinct giant scorpion body pillow that someone had made just the other day.
I saw a giant trilobite somebody had made. It looked pretty cool.
I'd like to make a big tardigrade pillow. I think that would be cool.
I like an isopod one.
I've got 2 pillows on my Amazon wish list. That in the trans community, IKEA came out with this stuffed pillow of a shark. It doesn't look like a real shark. It looks like a stuffed pillow shark.
Yeah, it's a cartoon
but they're
shark.
kind of cute, and apparently you're not trans enough unless you have one. That's not true, of course, but they've become very, very popular in the community. And I thought you could only get them at IKEA, and it turns out that you can get them anywhere. And I looked on Amazon, and I found the one that everybody's buying. That's this one particular shade of blue, kind of a blue gray, and then I found one that's pink, and I found one that's very light blue, the same colors as the trans pride flag. And so I decided I want those 2, except they're a little shorter than the popular one, but that's okay.
Yeah, I thought you had to go to IKEA for them. I think that you you know, you're going to be like a counterfeit trans if you don't get the official IKEA one.
Well, I had it done so long ago. I am a artificial trans person. Things are so different now. You know, it's
Okay, Jenni says she hasn't seen anything for tummy sleepers.
I was just looking on Amazon. I do see a few things, but they look pretty uncomfortable. Nothing that would allow you like put your face down or anything. You have to put your head to the side.
The only thing I could think of is if you had one that was like a donut, so your face was going through the center of it.
Yeah, I saw one, but it had really bad reviews.
they're showing Mexicans getting over the wall, and they have a rope ladder. They just fling it up to the top and climb right on up.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Anyone who knows anything about military history would know that walls by themselves aren't any use. They've got to be properly manned.
Yeah, you have to have armed
Yep.
guards that are willing to kill.
Yeah,
Then-
they've got to
then
be
what?
constantly patrolled. If you don't have people watching them, they don't do any good.
And people still get through, hence the Berlin Wall.
Yep. Actually, that is how my great uncle met his wife.
Oh yeah.
That he was with an army division at the Berlin Wall, and she would sneak over to get the used coffee grounds from the soldiers because they couldn't get coffee on the other side.
Oh,
Oh, that's so sad.
it's been really easy to get up Berlin Wall since '89.
Yeah, I really thought that was like the most historic event of my life when I saw that come down.
Yeah, wasn't it amazing? It really was. It
Yeah.
was like a total surprise.
Yeah, it wasn't the governments or the politicians. It was just the people in the street decided this has gone on long enough.
Yeah.
You know, and there were so many people doing it that the guards had no idea how to respond, so they just stood there and watched.
The editor for Milwaukee's main newspaper was a customer and friend of mine, Bob Whittick, and he went over to Berlin about 6 months after it all came down, and he brought me back pieces of the wall. That was neat. So I kept them, but I ultimately gave them to my nephew because he's kind of a history fan, and he was born. Oh no, he was born way before the wall. Never mind. But I knew he appreciated them.
You know, my father and most of my uncles were involved in World War II in one capacity or another, so just the whole chain of events there. I always, you know, felt that there was more of a family connection. It was more than just history to me.
Let's see now. It's 1940.
Well, especially since my father's side is Polish, you know, but they had come over around the, you know, turn of the 20th century. But the only surviving photograph of my great-grandfather, he is in a Russian soldier's uniform. And no one has any explanation for that. So, you know, the best guess is that he was conscripted into the Russian army in Poland and somehow defected and got on a ship to the U.S.
Oh, has anybody seen that absolutely heartbreaking? Well, it's a video on YouTube, but it's just a translated conversation between a father and a son on the telephone. The son is on the front lines, and the father's back home in Moscow. And the kid is just talking to dad about how frightened he is and how horrible things are going and how completely incompetent all the military people are. And and all the conscripts that are there that have no training whatsoever, and it just it was just an awful thing to listen to. It's fucking Putin. God, that man's got to fucking die.
There's also a video that's been going around huge on the internet that is detailed instructions for Russian soldiers of how to surrender to a drone. That basically,
Really?
they're telling the Russian soldiers that they can flag down a passing drone and surrender.
Who put it out? Ukrainians or Americans or?
No, the Ukrainian army put it out.
The United States is strongly considering sending our Reaper drone over there. The Reaper and Predator that are just really started the whole drone wars.
Well, last month we did finally start sending some tanks over there.
Well, no, we sent them over to some other country, and that country's sending them over. We got to play that game so Russia doesn't nuke the world.
Yeah,
right.
Kind of sucks we have to play that game, but
yeah, I don't understand the political situation, since it's clearly, a country invading a much smaller neighboring country. Isn't that what the UN is supposed to be for?
Yes, but you have to be realistic. Those are wonderful platitudes, and we all want to see that. But we're talking a nation that has an unstable leader that has fucking nuclear weapons up the ass.
And also Russia's on the Security Council too, and they have veto, don't they?
Well, that's the whole thing, that, Russia has vetoed the UN getting involved. And it's like, you got a problem with your bylaws there. The people involved in the conflict should not be part of the vote, let alone actually having control over the whole thing.
No, the big countries with the weapons don't want to let anyone tell them what to do, so they wouldn't agree to it. America wouldn't agree to it.
Yeah.
They're all right with democracies as long as it's under their control.
Well, that's exactly what the Republicans are trying to do here. They're trying to decide who's allowed to vote.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. In fact, they did such a good job at making it hard to vote that a whole lot of Republican voters didn't get to vote because it was just too fucked up.
Well, there were also a couple of evangelical preachers and commentators who were telling them that God's already taking care of this. The vote won't matter. So yeah, that made a lot of them decide that it didn't matter whether or not they voted, so they stayed home.
Well, obviously the guy was right.
Sounds like that God's name is Trump.
I just don't understand how this Ukrainian war is going to end. Logically, it would make sense for it to end right now because Russia is doing so bad, losing so many men, so many munitions, getting pushed back. That the Ukraine's bombing shit 400 miles from the border inside Russia. They're absolutely punishing the Russians, and you'd think Putin would say, "Okay, I'm going to cut my losses."
I don't think he can do that. Unless there's some way that Putin can find to save face for himself and sort of like claim a victory over a defeat, then I don't think that would happen. Another alternative is that Putin gets assassinated or something, or arrested for crimes, or show trial.
That's the whole problem with it right now. That Putin can't call off the attack if he doesn't have a way to save face. He can't be humiliated on the world stage. So unfortunately, at this point, unless somebody can assassinate him, I don't see any other way this can end.
We call if they could have a conditional Ukrainian surrender, where basically Ukrainian gains everything that it would if it won.
Ukrainian wants Crimea back, and they want all the Russian nationals who vote in the phony elections there out of the country.
I don't blame them.
Oh, I don't either.
Yeah,
Crimea's
well,
been there for thousands of years. You know.
And the reason that Putin wanted Ukraine in the first place is for their industrial production capabilities. That since World War II, Ukraine has made a lot of the weapons for the Russian military.
And can you
That's
believe
a brilliant idea, trying to hold up a gun shop.
Yeah, basically.
Can you believe what's happening in Germany? Did y'all tune into that?
I haven't heard of what's happening in Germany. What's happening?
Germany had its own January 6th, except it didn't turn into a big riot in the street.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a group of people all over the country who were organizing and ready to spring the trap on a coup to take down the German government and install a monarch.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and the German police handled it and arrested like 20, 50, 30, 50 people, I don't know how many, all over the country. And just bang, we got them all at once.
Unfortunately, you Americans can't get away with arresting the Republican Party.
No, in fact, I saw a thing on the internet today that talked about the Germany thing, that they investigated, they found this one, and they busted these people and took the guy who's the leader of the group that wants to be the new monarch, and nailed him too right away. That they're all in jail, and all at once. And that, let's see, Peru had a guy who decided to become a dictator and was going to dissolve Congress and install himself as the absolute monarch and stuff, or authoritarian. I mean, and the Peruvian people said, "No, that ain't gonna happen," and they nailed the fucker. And 24, 36 hours after he started the whole game, he was in jail. The Peruvian people said, "That's it. We're not going to take this," and they won.
Yeah, in Germany, the guy they were trying to install, is claiming he had some kind of hereditary right to the throne, except that Germany abolished the monarchy 100 years ago.
Well, but the family line still continues. It's the same thing as the Windsors in England.
Well, the difference is though that England still acknowledges they have a monarch. Germany said 100 years ago that having a monarch was a bad idea. We're not going to do it anymore.
What is it? Norway? Norway still has their monarch.
I think Sweden technically does too.
Is it Sweden? Okay.
We still have our monarch, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Chucky is such a bang up kind of guy.
Like a tampon.
I wonder how long he'll stay in that position.
until death is traditional, I think.
Yeah, but they can abdicate at any point that they want. Pass it on to his kid.
No,
Yeah,
he's been
Norway and
waiting
Sweden.
way too long for it. He's not going to give it up.
Norway and Sweden both have kings, but it's basically a ceremonial position. They don't really have any real power in the parliament.
Yeah, the king of Norway is like works in a bakery or something. They're just regular people.
Yeah, it's about on the level of your mayor.
With less power. Is anyone going to go see the new Avatar?
No. I'll catch it sometime at some point.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it when it comes to a streaming service we've got, but it's not that big a deal. I really didn't think the first one was all that great.
Oh, they just replayed it on TV the other day.
First one was a decent popcorn flick, but
yeah,
not great.
Well, it had good special effects in that, but yeah, the storyline and the characters really weren't that great.
Oh, I disagree. I fell in love with the characters.
I think I was one of the first people calling it Pocahontas in space.
I hadn't heard that, but yeah, that's about right.
It was the whole fight at the end was pretty much that Red Morning, or what was that thing that was back in the 80s? Patrick Swayze and
Red Dawn.
Yes, Red Dawn. Thank you. And it was basically that the underdogs with swords and slingshots take on the military and beat the hell out of them.
I wonder if they're still claiming that second Avatar movie needs to make $2 billion to break even.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think it will. They said 2 billion is a worldwide sales number.
I don't think so. That means it would have to be one of the top ones, highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah,
well,
I think it'll do it.
Yeah, the other thing is these days they don't necessarily have to make it all back at the theater, because there will be streaming, there will be Blu-ray sales, and of course, merchandising for the toys and such.
I just don't think there's enough interest in it anymore. Maybe if they had done it 10 years ago.
I think with the moonshot and stuff and that all going on, that people are being rekindled into outer space kind of things, and I think it stands a good chance of making it. In fact, I'll bet you a Lincoln that it's going to make it.
I think it'll wind up making money. I don't think it's going to be a huge hit.
Yeah.
And, the other thing is that there's so much more, focus recently on, the way that Britain colonized the rest of the world in that I think the movie's kind of going to run into the political scrutiny of that. What are we doing going to another planet and taking the resources thing?
Well, yeah, that's the whole genesis of the story, that how dare these Earth go and take over this planet, it was just like the white people coming into America and wasting all the indigenous folks. It's wrong.
Yep.
I don't think they could have made that movie 100 years ago, but today people get it.
That's the only thing that movie really had going for it, was the special effects, and that's kind of blasé now.
It was in 3D. It's also
that was
a gimmick.
And I saw it in 3D, and it was pretty good. I mean, I didn't like wearing the glasses and the colors, and true, and you have to put up with all that, but on TV this last week it was just regular film, no 3D.
Well,
Okay.
you don't really see too many theaters doing 3D anymore.
Were the 3D effects decent? Yeah, I didn't see it in a theater either.
Yeah, they were not so bad. They were not so bad. I was afraid that they'd overdo that, like the typical comic routine where they're lunging at the camera purposely and that kind of stuff. They didn't really do any of that. It was just another character in the background. As far as I'm concerned, the 3D. It was nice to see it just as a regular movie.
The only 3D film I saw was the Doctor Who 50th anniversary, and that was because it was only available in 3D in the cinema, before it came out on DVD. But I don't really have stereoscopic vision, so it's pointless for me paying for the extra for the most part.
Yeah, I think the 3D effects never worked well on me.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's because my eyes aren't even, or if it's just because my color perception's not that good. But
3D tends to give me a headache. So,
do you have a lazy eye, Purple?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't really have good stereoscopic vision because my left eye's lazy, so it always keeps pulling to the left, so my right eye is dominant.
Yeah, I don't have good depth perception to begin with.
There are two ways to achieve 3D. There's the red-blue shift, where they have a double image. One's blue, one's red, and the glasses you wear are the opposite position, and so they bring it together into your brain brings it together into one stereoscopic view. And then the other type
3 ways
is all with polarizing lenses in the glasses.
And well, yeah, there's 2 types of polarizing ways. One's to have the film show 2 different polarities on the screen and have the 2 lenses in the glasses show different polarity. And the other one is to have LCD shutters so that the projector shows 1 frame while one of the shutters is closed, and then the shutter switch positions of off and on so that the other eye can see the next frame when it shows on the screen.
Wouldn't that be some kind of big mechanical device on your head?
No, they'd use LCD shutters. Like, you know how with your calculator, how it turns the numbers black? Well, the old days calculator, how it turns the numbers black? It would use that same technology.
Okay, well,
this is
definitely not in that, because the glasses were just some cheap ass frame that you toss in a box when you're done.
Yeah, and
that's 90s technology, though.
Yeah, the glasses with the one red lens and the one blue lens, I can sometimes get the 3D effect like from a book if it's just a stationary picture. But from a movie where the thing's constantly moving, I never get the effect.
The color shift is just too annoying for me, and the polarization is what gives me the headaches.
I can certainly get how it would give you headaches.
I'm glad 3D only turned out to be a trend. I was worried there for a bit.
Yeah.
Well, they're still working on it at this point, though. It's just
it's going to be the never-ending gimmick.
Yeah, well, they need to get it to work on home video. They need to find a way to get it to work on the LCD TVs.
If they can get it to work without having to wear extra headgear.
Yep.
Well, now I do remember distinctly watching a film on television. Oh God, when was it? It was late 70s, I believe, where they actually broadcast it as a red-blue 3D film.
Yep.
And you send in a week ahead of time and get the special glasses and crap like that, and then watch it. I didn't get the.
That sounds like a cool, fun thing.
Yeah, there were a couple of films that tried doing that in the 80s. At one point, they did a big promotion that you even got the pair of glasses when you bought TV Guide.
Interesting.
Started in the 50s originally, though, didn't it?
Well, I think that's when they started them in theaters. Yeah.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first. There's that well-known shot of the audience where everybody's sitting there staring at the screen with their glasses on. Very iconic.
Yeah, I
And then,
can't even remember what the movie was, but there was something about, a gorilla swinging at the screen that was supposed to come right out at you.
I don't know. Maybe if they did something like what they're doing with these AR stages. That
I
might
wonder
work.
if anybody's made some porn in 3D.
Oh yeah.
oh, there, yes. That's porn's always on the new technology, and yeah. So there's also VR porn, which
Yeah.
by its nature
in
is
the
3D.
80s, there was 3D porn.
People say that porn has led the market or driven the market to cause most of our advancements in visual and projection technology.
Oh yeah.
To be accepted and put the money into to bring it to universal access.
Well, I fully believe that it's the reason that VCRs took off was so that people could watch porn at home.
And the internet, with all its infrastructure and the streaming technology that there is now, that Netflix uses, etc.
The internet was made for porn.
Yep. Why do you think it was born? The internet is for porn.
For sharing information and boobies.
No, peepees. No, it would be boobies because women don't watch porn.
That's not true.
So they say.
I think the biggest problem is that the porn that men make isn't good. When women started getting into directing and producing the porn, it got a lot better.
I do find most porn to be rather boring.
Might be the case that men are more willing to pay higher amounts of money for porn than women are, even though, porn isn't exclusively a male thing.
Well, it's mostly that, men will just sit and drool and not pay attention to anything else.
I would expect
women want
that
a little
it's
more to
a
it.
very, very large ratio of men to women. I mean, yes, women do watch porn, but men watch porn.
Oh yeah.
The numbers are just would be hugely different. I would bet 70-80% of men or viewers are men.
Oh yeah, I'd go along with that 80% of the porn is bought by men.
Maybe even more.
Yep.
And I'm not judging that. I'm not saying if it's good or bad. It just is.
No, and hell, if anybody was willing to pay me for it, I'd make porn.
In college, I had this roommate who I'd known prior to becoming roommates. And he was just, kind of old hippie. Well, he's old now, but we're both hippies. And I start living in his apartment. And like the first week I'm there, he says, "You want to watch some films?" And I said, "Well, yeah, there's nothing on tonight that I'm interested in watching." He says, "No, I got my own stuff." Oh, okay.
Marie Claire
talking about porn. And when he whipped out this 8mm projector, I'm going, "Oh, I know what this is going to be." And it was just, and he had a dresser drawer which was about 2.5 feet by maybe 1.5 feet deep, and it was packed solid with 8mm films, the big reels, the 4 or 5 inch reels.
Yep.
It was like, damn, I've never seen that much porn. I didn't stay there long.
That's actually how I started. I had a Super 8 movie camera that I was making my own stop motion animation video when I was in high school.
Weren't
My
you
dad
worried
did
about
that, I
getting
think.
caught when you had it processed?
I wasn't doing porn. I was doing
Oh,
doing stop motion with the Star Wars action figures.
okay.
So not puppetry of the penis?
No.
We did that too, but I predate you, so we used Major Matt Mason.
I vaguely get that reference, but yeah.
He was just this little astronaut looking dude, and they had some real cheesy accessories, you know, his rocket ship and that kind of stuff. It wasn't mine, it was my younger brother John's. I was kind of too old for owning that kind of stuff, but we used it to make stop action movies, you know, to learn how to do it more. And they were crappy, but we learned.
Yep. Actually, it was kind of fun because I was doing the space scenes, you know, with the model kits I built. So I played around a lot with, you know, simulating like weathering and battle damage so they didn't all look brand new.
Cool.
And I had gotten like 5 of the kits for the Star Trek Enterprise, you know, and this was when all there was the classic Star Trek, long before Next Generation came out. But I had the Star Trek technical manual. So I went through there and I kit bashed and I built one of every class of ship that was shown in the technical manual. So I had one of the Scout and one of the Dreadnought and one of the Tug. I would like to know what happened to those, but one of my nephews found them in my mom's attic when I was at school, and no one will ever tell me who took them.
Oh,
Damn. Were Klingon birds of prey around then? Or is it Romulan's birds of prey? I can't remember who it is.
Romulan bird of prey.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Klingon battle cruiser and the Romulan bird of prey.
I just remember that expression. I don't.
Yep.
I really don't remember what it looked like.
Actually, it was the Klingon battle cruiser that my stepbrother and I, or my foster brother and I, had taken part of the kit and put some lights in and ran a fishing line from our second-story bedroom window around the phone lines in the alley and back, so that then at night we could, you know, run this little model spaceship with the blinking LED lights in it back and forth across that line a few times. And when the local paper came out the next week, there was a dozen reports in there to the police department about a UFO.
And it really was a flying spaceship.
We caused trouble like that too. Let's see, we were in 7th grade, 8th grade. Me and a buddy who lived across the street learned about, if you take a plastic bag or a very lightweight paper bag and you have a cross brace in it and you put a candle in there and you light it up, it'll heat up and fly, and the bag will glow. And so we did that, and we launched about 5 of them at the same time. And there were reports of UFOs the next day.
Yeah, actually, that's
My aunt and uncle sent up one of those, and we were wondering after we sent it up how many reports of UFOs we'd get.
Well, it was a lot easier to fool people with in the 60s. You know,
And by the end of 2019, almost 3 out of every 10 Pornhub consumers were female.
How many? What percentage again?
3 out of 10 were female.
okay. So that's still 70% were men.
2021 year review shows us in the U.S. 33% in the viewers were female. Interestingly enough, is in the Philippines, 52% were female.
It'd be interesting to find out what nature of porn they were interested in seeing. If it was
which categories,
sexual, you know, body or plot driven, or you know, those kinds of things.
Another study here: sexual orientation straight, gender identity female. I'm not sure who they were interviewing for this one though. Age, relationship status.
I was when I first started to wonder and looked on the internet for what kind of porn is out there relating to transgender folks, I was shocked at how much there was out there. I mean, I wasn't shocked because it was trans porn, but just how much of it there was.
I was aware it was a major fetish thing.
Did you see that?
Huge.
Did you see that one person who's like I was into trans porn, then I found God or something. See that video?
No.
He's talking about how he became addicted to trans porn, and then he found Jesus.
Okay, now I'm wondering how much Jesus porn there is.
Yeah, is Jesus pretty hot?
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, they usually portray him with a good six-pack, so.
Apparently, he's heavily into BDSM.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, I think trans porn is where the expression bukkake was developed.
No, that's Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
As far as I understand, it means a whole bunch of men fucking the same woman at the same time.
Not exactly. It has to do with the ending where they just all come on her.
Yeah, just spraying their emissions all over her.
3 holes, no waiting.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's about extreme facials, basically.
Yeah. Now that stuff I always considered rather gross. I didn't understand why they always have to, pull out and show the guy spraying it. It's like you don't think that we were convinced they were having sex if you don't show that?
Well, that's a turn on for some people, just to see that happen. I mean, I haven't ever seen anybody get turned on by that, but I've heard people describe people who get turned on by that sort of thing. I am rather prudish when it comes to porn. I was very interested in seeing what's out there, but I don't want to watch any of it. And it bothers me that it's out there, but I would never move or attempt to have other people not be allowed to watch it. It's their choice, but to me it's kind of gross and childish.
Yeah, like I said, most of it I find boring.
Yeah, that fits too.
I mean, what 90% of it is how many different positions they can get into in 10-20 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting learning. I mean, you got the Kama Sutra and these kinds of things, and you can look at all the illustrations, but it is kind of interesting to see just what people are capable of having sex. Oh, you can do that? Really? I imagine it has to be pretty long for you to accomplish that. Yes. Oh God.
I remember that there was an episode of Dharma and Greg where she'd had an accident, and Greg was trying to ask her doctor, very clumsily if it was, safe for them to resume having sexual activity and he was kind of stuttering and couldn't get it out. And she grabbed the doctor's tablet and does a quick sketch and says, he's asking if we can do this. And the doctor looks at it and says, could you do that before your accident? And she says, oh yeah, I'm a yoga instructor.
Oh, now here's some BDSM in searches by women, percent difference in popularity when compared to men. Gay BDSM, 163%.
See, I've never seen a street market porn filled with dialogue.
So yeah,
just never seen it. I'm sure it's out there, but
spanked and fingered, 160%.
They are unfortunately rare. I have seen a couple of porn movies that actually did have some kind of plot you could follow.
Dominant and submissive, 155%.
I presume that in myself that if I was actually attractive and sexy, that I would consider doing that for money.
I would do it if anybody would pay me. At this age, I can't see that ever happening.
Yeah,
but
people make an awful damn lot of money.
Oh.
Yep.
On that.
You don't have. Well, there are people who are interested in older ladies, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
you know, it would
gonna
be
set
a
up an
very niche
OnlyFans.
market. It'd be a very niche market of people who are interested in MILFs and people who are interested in transsexuals.
Trans MILF orgies.
Yep. And yeah, if I got somebody to film it and I posted it on Pornhub, I'm sure there would be some people downloading it.
Well, if you pay me enough, I'll film it for you.
How about if I just give you 30%?
Okay, but you got to buy me lunch during filming.
Doc says there's a Seinfeld parody porn out there. And that is something that I did not need to know.
I wonder if there's a Friends one out there.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure for every popular TV show there is.
Oh,
Well, the Seinfeld one would be easy. You just have to decide who's master of their own domain, and not that there's anything wrong with that.
You have to say on in Marvel Comics they introduced a character called Ironheart, who's basically this black female trying to replace his Tony Stark as Iron Man. That didn't really work out too well. Also, they gave her the name Ironheart, but it turns out Ironheart was the name of a Japanese porno who were mocking Iron Man. Before the character.
The one thing about the Iron Man series that I consider to be bogus was the fact that here's this character. What's his name again?
Elon Musk.
No,
Tony Stark.
Yeah, Tony Stark. And his non-Iron Man character is obviously this filled with self-import, sex driven, and sex.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Yeah. And so I always wondered why they never showed Iron Man having genitals, and what could they do if they did?
I think because I remember the debacle of the nipples on Batman in the 90s.
Yep. Well, that was completely unnecessary. I don't know why they did that, but
what is this?
Because the director was gay.
Yeah.
Literally.
In one of the early Batman movies, they had him in this latex
No, the
suit
third
that
one.
had rubber nipples.
Yeah, it was the third
Really?
one.
Batman Forever.
Here's a good piece
he apologized for that movie, by the way.
Here's a good piece of trivia to take.
Joel Schumacher did.
Yeah.
The movie Cats, which of course was a box office flop, this regardless of the fact that it had some very talented people in it. The first version of it was released, and then it was withdrawn, and every copy was destroyed till they could come out with the corrected copy, because then they paid some people to sit there at their computers and digitally remove all the assholes from every cat.
Oh, Cat. the movie Cats.
Yeah. But people objected to there being cat assholes around, it's.
I like to see an interview with the 3D modeler who did those cat assholes.
Pat, say that again. I missed.
I'm sorry. I'd like to see an interview with the person who did the 3D modeling for those cat assholes and the texturing.
That looked like a rather disturbing movie, that Cats thing.
I never saw it.
I've heard a lot of people say that it gave them the creeps.
I have been wondering about this one. This was a Lego set that was released last year. And I am wondering how this got actually into the set that is currently being sold in stores. It's a tiger.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh yes, I've seen that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, they even included a piece for a pink butthole. And
Oh my God.
then again, it's a Danish company. I suppose they probably don't have as big a hang up over it as Americans do.
Does it poop? That's the point of this.
No, it doesn't do anything. That's just it. That's just the model. You lift the tail up and it's got a pink butthole.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
I would have gotten you that one, but I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, so-
we have got to tell a bunch of evangelicals about this and have them go crazy on it. That is funny. Get one before I tell the evangelicals in case they all get taken off the market. It'll be valuable someday.
Well, usually Lego sets tend to either increase or remain constant on their price.
Oh yeah. Now that you mention that, Perp, I went onto that Lego Land website. Is that it? Brickland?
Bricklinks.
No, this is Brickland, I think. Well, it doesn't matter. To look for that LGBT Lego, and I found one complete. You know, it was assembled, photographed, and put back in the box. And
Yeah, that was Bricklink she sent you too.
And they want $30.
Yep. Yeah, that's about what it originally sold for, I think.
Somebody had a sealed, never opened one I think it was near $100 or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was expecting. I thought it would probably be like $100 because it was such a limited release. So I'm glad you got one.
No, I didn't. I didn't get one. I just saw it.
Oh.
I can't spend money on that junk.
Yeah, it's a set I kind of wanted, but yeah, I'm not big on displaying too many of them, so.
I have to break away for a minute. I got a wee.
Okay. But yeah, while we've been sitting here, I don't want to dox anybody, but somebody sent me a generous gift on PayPal just since we started the stream.
Was it Elon Musk?
No. No, he doesn't seem to notice me even when I go after him. I actually thought I'd get my Twitter account suspended last week from some stuff I was saying, but he didn't notice me.
Mm.
Of course, he gets so many, tens of thousands of replies to everything he says.
Because you have to be more high profile from to take notice.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't have enough followers, and I'm sure that's part of it. That's calculated, of how many people is this going to reach, whether or not it's worth him paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I happen to be right there when he posts it and be, like one of the first couple of dozen people to reply to it. Oig. Well, it's kind of quiet. We'll wait for Jenni to get back, but unless somebody has something else to talk about.
Well, sexual preference to elderly is gerontophilia. It's part of the chronophilia.
I suppose I should be paying attention to that since I'm probably getting into that category now.
Mesophilia, middle-aged adults. Teleophilia is a sexual preference for adults. Hebephilia, which would be a sexual preference for pubescent and post-pubescent youths essentially
Prepubescent.
Yeah.
Teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely don't want to get into that.
Then everybody knows is pedophilia, which obviously is prepubescent. Then they have infophilia, which is a sexual preference for infants or anyone 5 years or is not younger.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's that whole thing about, consenting adults. Let's stick to that.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
A random trivia thing popped into my mind a little earlier when we were talking about porn and whatnot. That either of you familiar with Chris Voss, the science fiction cover author, science fiction cover artist?
Chris, what was that?
Chris Voss. He did lots of spaceship designs for science fiction books.
I don't recognize the name, but then again, I'm just not good with names. So.
All right. Well, I was surprised to find out that he also did the illustrations in The Joy of Sex.
Hmm.
He mainly did illustrations in the 70s and 80s.
I looked it up. I'm not seeing anything that really stands out as something I recognize from him.
Oh, okay. I've always loved his style of spaceships because he has them like unusual and bright and stripy and checkered.
Yeah, it does have some interesting designs
here. What was
here.
the last name?
Voss.
F-O-S.
F-O-S-S.
Yep.
Okay, Chris Voss, British artist. Okay, yeah. Actually, he used to do a lot of illustrations for Omni magazine. I recognize some of these.
That would be right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, the covers of some Arthur C. Clarke novels I had.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Asimov novels too. He would have done covers for.
Yeah, so I didn't know the name, but I certainly recognize his work.
Yeah.
Oh, I need an artist to work with me. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to offer them in return.
What do you need?
Well, some channel art, but also some illustrations from my novel.
How illustrated was you thinking of having the novel? Was you like thinking of internal illustrations or just for the cover, or?
It would be nice to have some, even if they were just like black and white line drawings, at least, of some of the characters, just because each character is a species from a different planet.
Yeah. I like how they did illustrations in pen and ink in books like Alice in Wonderland, Narnian Chronicles.
What kind of channel art are you looking for?
Yeah, pretty much everything. You can see my channel's kind of blah here. All I have are the avatars. I also had an idea for, well, actually several ideas, if I could get somebody to do, kind of like graphic novel panels of doing, just stories that would be 2 or 3 pages.
Who was the artist
when I met Junie, she did give me one that she did of one of my characters. So I definitely I still need to get that properly framed.
Who did the banner image on your YouTube?
You know, I forget his name now, even because that was something somebody did for me almost 5 years ago now. The name is on the image. I did make sure that I kept his signature on there.
We're talking about the same one, the one with the hills and the purple dinosaur and the orange car.
Yeah.
His name must have been cropped.
Okay, well, we've been going about 2.5 hours, and I think everybody's kind of winding down here. Well, okay, no, Jenny.
We're having too much
If,
fun.
If you've got a topic, we'll keep going.
Okay, well, I just sent you a picture on your
on the Twitter.
Mid America, yeah. And I just wanted you to share it with the chat.
Okay, I got it.
Offer them a little photography lesson.
Share screen. There we go. A nice winter scene by Jenny.
Isn't that a lovely little picture?
Yep.
It is.
Okay, now you notice the blue cast that it has?
Yes.
Yes.
That was quite intentional. And I'm showing this because I'm on this kind of half-hearted campaign to improve people's photography with digital cameras, and particularly phone cameras. All your photo software has editing capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you can use the basic commands that you have in it for like exposure, which will make it lighter or darker.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say, no, too dark a picture and it's just a waste of everybody's time just lighting that sucker up. But they also give you things like sharpen or blur or tone or saturation or contrast.
Yeah, so some of these can do
black point, all this kind of stuff. Make a duplicate of whatever picture you want to fuck with so you don't lose it, and start fucking around with it on these controls and learn what they do.
Yeah, some of these
this thing here, the standard photograph I took, and I took it into saturation, and I upped the saturation from about 50 to about 75 on their little scale. And then I went into the warm tool, which will alternate, it's a spectrum in there, and it'll alternate between
temperature of the picture,
reddish stuff on the warm side and bluish stuff on the cold side. And I dragged it all the way over to the cold, and that's what you get, is that bluish cast.
Neat.
Okay. Now that would be a real expensive thing to buy Photoshop for, but you can do it right in your own little program.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to fuck with the controls and see what they do.
Yeah, there's a lot a lot of these phones have a pretty amazing stuff built into them nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for the artistic touch, you see on the corners how that is they're slightly darkened. That's called vignetting.
Vignetting.
It's called vignetting, and most of the software apps have that, and it's been a thing that's done in photography for hundreds of years, and it helps just to draw the viewer's attention into the picture, and instead of drifting off to the border and stuff. It's all unconscious. So that's
very
all.
nice. Yes.
And if you'd like any other tips, just let me know, and or if you got a problematic photograph, I'll help you solve it.
Yeah, I could see using that one as a holiday card.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Have you guys seen that guy who people make Photoshop requests of him, and he basically deliberately misinterprets what they're asking for?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that.
I think that's great.
Agreed.
I will use Photoshop and fuck with stuff too. In my own personal serious photography, I promised myself years ago, well, when Photoshop first came out, back in version 1.0, that I would never use it for anything other, or On my own photographs, I would never use it for anything more than what I could do to the image in a darkroom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually more familiar with Paint Shop than Photoshop.
Paint Shop Pro.
Yeah.
I remember using
would
that
bet
back in the
it's a
day.
lot of the same stuff.
Well, like Jenny says, I need to play around with those programs some to learn to manipulate images more. I really haven't done very much
The
with
biggest
them.
thing is you just have to not be afraid to play with them. You're not going to break anything. Well, you can break anything. If you save an image after you've manipulated it, it's that way forever. That's why it's
always best to make a duplicate.
Well, a lot of these will have
auto work on that.
Well, a lot of these will have auto backups, so it'll back up the original.
Yeah, but what Jenny's saying is that you should always
I wouldn't
just
rely
make
on
a
it,
copy of it first and
No, I
play with
wouldn't
the
either.
copy to make sure that you
Yeah.
always have an archive of the original image, no matter what you do.
No, whenever I mess with an image, I'm going to save it. I always do a save as and save as a separate image.
Yep, that's the right thing to do.
Well,
And then
the thing
you get into heavy
to do-
heavy duty stuff like Photoshop. Never make the correction on the base layer, but add a new layer and do the correction on that layer, so you can always reverse what you've done.
Yeah, see, you've already lost me once you start talking about layers.
Basically, you can basically have one layer on top of another. So whatever you do say you have, kind of think of it like putting a saran wrap over something. So you draw on the saran wrap.
You know about cell animations, how they have the cells with the different drawings on. It's like that.
Yeah, like I was saying, like if you put like saran wrap on top of something, you can draw on the saran wrap. You peel the saran wrap off, and what you had underneath isn't drawn on.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a book of anatomy, they'll have a human body, and then you peel off.
Yeah, the transparency layers. I get what you mean now.
Yeah, that kind of thing. That's what layers do.
Yeah, see, now when you explain it, I get it. I actually used to do that way back when they used to use transparency projectors in the classrooms.
Yes, exactly the same thing.
Yep.
I actually made my own posters that way. That I would, I'd get the plastic sheets and I would like trace things from book covers and I'd composite different images together that way.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a digital version.
The pledge I made to myself, I like this blue thing. I can easily do that in a darkroom. That's completely mindless. It's just change my yellow filter, make it a little less dense, and more blue will come out. Anyways, I won't do things in Photoshop again on my own keeper photography. Like I wouldn't put in a fake sky with clouds because I wanted to have clouds in there instead of a cloudy day or something like that.
What about
I won't change the color of the river or something to make it more picturesque, and you just don't do that shit.
What about putting a Death Star up in the sky?
With the Death Star?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that I would.
That's got to enhance any photo.
Gray. I would leave it its original gray. I might put a laser beam coming out of it, though. It'd be more exciting that way.
So I do think the whole names of Photoshop and Paint Shop are backwards, seeing as Photoshop is more of a paint program and Paint Shop is more of a photo editing program.
When Photoshop came out, nobody used it for painting. Nobody painted shit on their images. Yeah, it was used just as a photo manipulation tool, and as more people used it and they were exposed to it and learned what they could do with it, they realized that I can do full illustrations in this damn thing, and people got good at it. I'm not very good at doing those kind of illustrations in it.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, I knew somebody who did a business airbrushing photos, before we had the computers to manipulate them.
Yeah.
And he said that most of his business was airbrushing people's exes out of family photos.
Yeah, all of my tiled cards on my channel have been done through Paint Shop. I have to go over to my old computer to do it, and because I don't have the newer copies.
And when you're airbrushing like that, I learned airbrushing and retouching too. You use what's called frisket, and it's like just a super thin, transparent film that you put over the photograph or the area you want to work on or the whole photograph, and you actually make your corrections in your dyes and paints right on that, so that you're not damaging the original photograph. So it's that technique, that concept has been around forever.
Yep. I've got an airbrush on my Amazon wish list. I wouldn't be doing photographs, but I'd like to learn to use one just for doing mostly building models again.
I'm going to have to give you the name of a Yahoo group. There's this Yahoo group I'm a part of that's scale modeling. Oh, it's amazing what some of these people can do. I am definitely never going to be that good.
Yahoo groups are still a thing.
You know, that they have photographs like this. One that really fucking impressed me was just a closed up store in an old village. You know, and you could look through the windows and see, and it had, you know, old product laying on the ground. It had trash laying on the ground. It had cracks in the display glass of you know, the counter in the side, and all of it absolutely looked like the goddamn real thing right in front of your face. It was just, unreal.
Well, and that's a big part of my thing is that, you know, as I'm working on my novel, I would like to actually start building models of some of the ships.
So are you thinking of doing spaceship modeling mainly, or have you got a broader idea of what sort of models you want to make, Purple?
Well, spaceship models, and I am going to do something that will get me thrown out of all the Lego collector groups, because I actually would be willing to paint some, but mostly for the very specific reason that Lego makes such a limited range of parts in the deep purple color.
Dun 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 dun.
Yep.
Yes,
And
I can see how
myself thrown out of most of the Lego groups for that.
Yeah, I can see how you get thrown out for that.
And
thrown
also,
out or executed?
Well, then I'm definitely going to turn you on to both of these groups. One is a scale model, and the other is a space modeling group. That these guys, the most impressive one I've ever seen is a guy did a space shuttle, and it was just dead nuts fucking real. The wear and tear on the tiles and all that just looked perfect. And then he also was a very skilled photographer, and he set it up into his own space background with a very carefully balanced light source that mimicked very well the actual sun, you know, the kind of shadowing you have, the direction of where it would be coming from relative to the picture. And just, it was so perfect. I had to stare at the thing for like a few days before I decided it was a model.
Yeah. Well, there's a YouTube channel called Create Sci-Fi that this guy is just, you know, about how to do very low budget science fiction props. And he does things like, okay, I've got $5. I'm going into Dollar Tree and we're going to build a spaceship.
Cool.
Oh, cool. What's that called again?
Create Sci-Fi.
Create Sci-Fi.
I can send you a link to it on Twitter.
Sure, that'd be cool. I love that stuff. And you're all going to yell at me for acting so binary and stereotypic. I've wanted to get back into modeling, but it's not. I feel terrible saying this. It's not a girl thing, you know. And I know that's stupid, but
we'll call it sculpture then.
There's the link in both side chats.
Oh, okay. I had just pulled it up myself. Thanks.
I think that's the right guy.
Yep. Yeah, he does, you know, like I say, some just really impressive stuff that he's, you know, just spending $5 or $10 on. As far as it not being a girl thing, Jenny, I mean, I hate to tell you this, but fixing cars isn't considered a girl thing, and I think you've been doing that for a while.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's kind of a notch in the belt kind of thing, you know. That's like jumping into the enemy's camp and beating them up.
Well, the whole girl thing, guy thing, probably
Hey,
a lot of the things probably need to be stop being looked at that way anyway.
hey,
Agreed.
that's one of my earliest memories of the whole girl thing. Was taking a couple of my sister's Barbie dolls, and they went and beat up my brother's G.I. Joe and stole his Jeep.
I like it.
I remember doing that, and I couldn't have been more than 6 or 7 years old when I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And did they kiss?
What's that?
Afterwards, did they kiss?
I don't know. I don't know if I was really aware of that kind of
No,
stuff then.
the Barbies were actually lesbian. They made out by themselves.
Lesbians kiss.
Yeah, they do. Very nicely too.
Although I did get in trouble in school. I was probably like 3rd grade for kissing a boy.
Oh.
Did he get in trouble too?
I don't
Well,
think
no,
he got in
because
trouble.
like,
Yeah, we did remain friends for pretty much until we started high school.
What? And you never fucked?
No, never got that far.
I'm disappointed.
I don't think he was ever into me that way. I just had a crush on him.
oh.
And
And
yeah,
I didn't do any of that. Didn't do anything actually sexual until I was in high school. I saved myself.
Not intentionally though, huh?
Yeah. I saved myself too.
Yeah, I think it took me that long to find somebody else who was willing to.
I saved myself until uni
I never did.
or later.
Well, I was 18 when I got my first kiss, so.
Really? That's pretty young. I'll embarrass myself yet again tonight. I was 21 when I got my first kiss.
I was about 5 or 6 when I got my first kiss, but after we broke up, I didn't have another kiss until I was 25.
Yeah, I don't really remember my first serious kiss. Yeah, I've never been big on kissing. I don't know. It just wasn't something that was ever special to me.
I really enjoyed it. The woman who first kissed me was also ended up being the first woman I had sex with, and we dated for I don't know. It was only 3 months or something like that.
I'm apparently good at it. I don't know.
I guess I've tended to avoid it just because I had a lot of casual sex and always got the message that if you kissed someone, then they thought it was something serious. So,
yeah, I've heard people say that too.
I can
yeah,
see.
I didn't want anybody to think that it was anything serious.
And I always thought when I heard people say that, I always thought that, well, then, and I've also heard that prostitutes don't kiss for that same reason. So if I do that with a girl I'm dating, then I'm treating her like a prostitute, and I can't do that. So kissing's open.
Yeah, I've never been very good at the whole dating thing.
Me neither.
Really,
Better at it than me.
Almost all of my serious relationships started out with having sex, and after we'd been having sex for a couple of months, we decided that maybe we could do something else too.
I'd have to get to know the person before I had sex with them.
Yeah.
And remember, all of you that are out in the chat, I'm looking to break my 47-year dry spell, so you can always give me a call. 43-year. give me a call and we can get together.
I'm not sure if we've got anybody in the chat anymore.
Oh, we
Hasn't-
bored him that much?
Well, there haven't been any comments from the side chat for some time now.
Jeez, folks.
Everybody
We
go
were
to bed.
talking about sex, and that doesn't get any comments?
Hey, you think I would get some comments?
Yeah, well, the last thing we had was that
We're so
Last-
good at sex talk, they've fallen asleep.
yeah, the last comment by Junie was when we were talking about the Ukraine, and then Doc said something when we were talking about porn. Okay, Doc is still here.
Yeah, anybody else out there, just type in a period and send it just so we can do a head count. I'm curious how many we've lost.
Well, it says there's 7 people watching. Okay, there's Kira still listening.
I love that name.
Yeah, it's a nice name.
Yep. Well, of course, it always makes me think of the Dark Crystal.
And all
Makes me think of
derivations, Kiri, Kirsten, and some others. I just not.
Kira reminds me of Kira Sedgwick, I think it is. Except her name's spelled differently, I think. I think she's actually
I know what you mean. Yeah.
the wife of the guy who's 6 Degrees. Footloose, 6 Degrees, Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
You
I
know,
think
if she's married
Kira-
to him, that's a lot less than 6 degrees.
Hi, Carol.
There's pretty 0 degrees.
Oh, hi, Carol. I didn't know Carol was ever there. I don't think she had said anything before now.
No.
No, she was just lurking.
Hey, who's going to buy me some Taylor Swift tickets? She's going to be in Minneapolis, and
Oh, is she coming to Minnesota?
that's what I hear. They're only.
I saw
they're
the
only,
thing that was her birthday the other day.
They're only 4,000 a piece. Well, for the first 10 rows.
Yeah. I've never been a big one of her concerts. They're always like too many people and too loud.
Yeah, and I think my concert days are over. I couldn't even walk the length of a stadium to find a seat.
Concerts are one of the few things I'm comfortable.
There's nowhere to sit.
Concerts are one of the few social things I'm comfortable with because I can just treat all those people like trees and really dip into the music mentally.
Never really was interested in going to concerts.
Yeah, me either. The last 2 concerts I was to was just because I was taking my daughters to them. But I got to see Ringo Starr and Weird Al.
Big venues like that kind of scare me to death these days. There's been, it's not like it happens every week or even every music or concert season, but these
Yeah, you hear about people getting crushed at concerts or that.
yeah, exactly. Mass hysteria and everybody's running and shit.
Yeah.
It would take was one firecracker of people thinking it's a gun.
Yep.
And suddenly 200 people die because they got stepped on. It's just kind of scary.
Yeah, that's an additional issue with them.
Oh, look, Andrew's here.
Hello. Duck person there.
Yep. Well, yeah, YouTube says 7 people watching, but that also counts, any of us that are logged into YouTube. So it's counting me as one of them.
Well, I'm not sure if I quite fit into demisexual or not, in which an individual does not experience primary sexual attraction, the type of attraction that is based on immediate observable characteristics such as appearance or smell, is experienced immediately after first encounter. I don't know, I can look at somebody like, yeah, I'd be sexually attracted to them, but if I was to have sex with them, it wouldn't really interest me until I got to know them, which would fit into they can only experience secondary sexual attraction, the type of attraction that happens after knowing someone for a while. So I'm not quite sure if I really fit into that or not.
I am an absolute sucker for eyes and faces. I there's some women who I just drop down to my knees. They're just so
Yeah,
awe-inspiring.
eyes can get me.
Again, I'm not as visually oriented. I'm much more auditory. So yeah, there are some people that just because of their voice or their accent, will melt me. That there are some people that I feel like I could have sex with them having no idea what they look like.
Sense of humor and snarkiness is what really attracts me, I think.
Yeah, well, and it's a whole different set of criteria if it's just like we're just getting together for sex, or this is somebody I'm going to, be dating and hanging out with.
The one thing that getting involved in the trans community and being here on Twitter is I've seen a lot more trans people than I ever knew prior to getting in the community.
Oh.
And I am just taken aback. I'm stunned by how many trans women are just absolutely some of the most gorgeous women you've ever seen in your life. It's just like,
I know.
How can that be? And I look like a fucking tank.
I know. I see these ones, posting on Twitter most every day.
Oh, and you'd be really jealous of some of the drag queens I was looking at earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's different,
I know it's different, but still, they look more quite convincing in some of them.
Yeah, I have to say though, I also, I look at some of them and it's not necessarily a positive thing, but it makes me a little resentful that I wasn't able to transition a lot younger.
Yeah, that's
understandable, emotional reaction.
It's actually a big piece of what I've been shredding my brain about lately with my shrink. And,
well, and especially just, and it's something my doctor told me about was that, the HRT is just not going to have as noticeable a changes on me due to my age. Yeah, that for somebody who had started in their 20s, it would probably have a more pronounced effect.
Anyway, the reason why I was looking at the whole drag thing was I came across a Libs of TikTok post.
Oh, I hate
Do I nearly need to say more than that? But
yeah, those people need to die.
Anyway, this thing was a post of a drag queen. They were up on stage. They had these fake boobs that were completely exposed in sort of like a gift present thing, and they were getting dollar bills put in into their fake ass and stuff. And they were saying, "This is for an all ages, family friendly drag show." Well, I did a little bit of looking into it, and no, it does say all ages are invited, but this is a naughty tour.
I have been to G-rated drag shows, and they are absolutely G-rated.
Oh yeah,
damn near Walt Disney.
Yeah, so the thing did say this is not necessarily, it didn't say family friendly. It said it was a naughty tour. So there was going to be explicit material in the show.
No, people involved in drag know exactly what they're doing, and they have no interest in doing that with children. I mean, we all know this, and we've known this for decades and decades now, and it's just been these assholes in the last 5 to 7 years that have just turned it all around, 100% around to all the horror stories that were told about gay people back then are being told about us now.
Yeah, they're trying to.
It's just not true. It's just not true.
Yeah, they're just trying to demonize us.
Yeah, apparently there was another one about a drag show where they had a kid who was a drag queen. Kid was maybe 10 years old doing drag, and they had on stage and had another drag queens there. Apparently got naked and hid behind them or something.
I have heard of a couple young boys who are in the 10, 12 type age range and who are into drag. That didn't happen because they went to a drag show or met a drag queen. It's because they felt what they felt and did what they did.
Is it called drag when you're trans?
No.
No.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe it's not even drag.
Drag is for entertainment. It's a show.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
These days, of course, I would not be at all surprised if there are, some boys who see like RuPaul's Drag Race on TV and, decide that looks fun.
Yeah, apparently this kid was, just got into it somehow when he was like 7 and just liked doing it.
It's kind of funny. My son and a bunch of other friends, like kids when they were like 17, 16. I don't know why, but a couple of these guys, they just love to go out into town in dresses, and they'd have their girlfriends, like, female friends, do them up. Oh my goodness, it was hilarious because they would just strut in Walmart and everything else, including my son. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It was hilarious. It's great.
That's what I
probably love the attention.
Did any of the boys from that group end up trans?
I don't know, because they grew up and left and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was. And the thing is what was really cool is they could give a shit less. I mean, and then what was really funny is all these gals just came up to them. Oh, hi! Like they didn't even say anything. It was great.
There's this new gimmick on YouTube. Well, I shouldn't say gimmick. A new genre format that some younger women or in her early mid-20s tops, and she calls it just girls flirting with girls. And what she does is she seems to walk up to young, her own age kind of young women, and just starts talking to them real simply. Hi, oh, your eyes are so pretty, and oh, well, thank you. And then within a minute to 2 minutes, she's asking this woman to go out on a date with her, and they do.
Yeah, I've seen that. They're like, yeah, okay.
It's just like, how fascinating. And even if they've said, oh no, I'm not interested in girls, she still talks them into it. It's like, well, come on, well, let's go. We'll see what happens. Oh well, all right. It's like, oh geez, I wish it was that easy.
Well, I'm glad that society has gotten to that point too, though. And with what you guys were talking about earlier about regretting not being able to transition earlier in life, that does suck very bad. This being said, it is you guys that are going to make it easier for our kids.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you guys are really making a huge difference in a lot of other people's lives.
Well, that's already true. I mean, with all the, I say it like it's a huge number. With the number of children who are in 12, 13, 14, 15, who have come out and are receiving counseling treatment and maybe in some cases androgen blockers. They're definitely out there. When I was that age, transgender didn't even exist as far as society was concerned. I mean, it existed, but it was so deep.
It was called something else.
No, it was called the word transsexual was coined in the 20s.
No, what I'm saying is in common society, it is freaks or whatever else.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Yep.
And so it was not something that was ever considered for children. But
yeah, it wasn't even something that you read about in the newspapers or anything until the 80s.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have been thinking about this. I was born in 1970. The first time I saw a Rocky Horror Picture Show, I was stoned at 8 years old. Yes, my mother got me stoned and then took me in to see Rocky Horror. But as I think about Rocky Horror, I wonder if that didn't have the biggest impact for the queer community, the transgender community,
well, I think it did bring it out in the open more, and especially that at so many theaters that they had, people dressing up as the characters and that, and
and like respectable
even people
businessmen and stuff
performing
doing it.
Yeah.
I think it certainly had some sort of effect. I have no doubt about that. Did it increase the number of people who claim to be trans? Well, maybe to some degree it did. But when that thing came out, it was the early mid 70s, and people were into it because it was so outrageously different than what else is on the market, or what was viewable in a standard theater, as opposed to a pornography den. And people were not thinking about in those terms. It wasn't. It was entertainment. It was a drag show, and a comedy. Later on, I mean, it's still being shown in places now, and the kids go and see it, and it's a completely different attitude about it. I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show is actually a play that's put on in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you know that?
No. I do think, I'm pretty sure that movie has not ever stopped playing, though, in theaters. I know in Denver on Fridays, there's a theater that plays it every Friday.
Yeah, I think there's still a couple of theaters in Minneapolis that play it every weekend.
I had a conversation with some young people, I think late teens, early 20s, and they were talking about Rocky Horror, and I said, yeah, I saw it too, and I thought Susan Sarandon was so hot, and then I would comment, and she still is, and they said, oh, who is that? And I tried to describe, a more current movie that she'd been in, like
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, and they'd all go, oh, that was her. She used to look like that. So well, people change as they get older. Kids, you're only beautiful in your 20s.
How many times has everybody seen Rocky Horror?
Oh, I think I've seen it a dozen times.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of dozen times. I don't know.
About
actually,
3 times.
I have it here on DVD somewhere.
Huh. I've probably seen it at least 100.
Hey, Mage, going back to the child in drag, if you ever want to have material to counter that fallacious argument that people offer nowadays, go collect some images off the internet of the 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds that Southern parents love to take their little girls to and be look like whores at that age for a beauty
pageant.
Yeah, those child beauty pageants.
You want to see drag? Here you go. You want to see grooming? Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's good Christian grooming. That's okay.
It pisses me off to no end. I also keep that list. It's much longer than I have access to, but it's a list of like 50, 60, 70, I don't know, Republicans who have been busted for pedophilia or other sexual abuse.
It's definitely
in the last number of years.
Oh yeah, this whole thing is definitely cherry picking.
Yeah. And then
but that's okay because Christ has forgiven them.
I remind people of I remind evangelicals in particular of the Baptist Southern Baptist Convention paper that they released that was 205 pages long of listings of people, notables in the church who have been busted for pedophilia and other sexual abuse of children. 205 pages.
But all they need to do is repent, and they get out a free jail card, though. So it's
I had heard
if you're a good Christian and say you're sorry, then it's as if it doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, they're so quick to forgive someone in their own ranks, and that's okay. Jesus will take care of you. And
I had heard last year that the Australian government was telling the Jehovah's Witnesses that either they release records or they were going to revoke their tax-free status. But I never heard a follow-up on that.
I don't recall the specifics, but I thought I heard something about Australia coming down in the JWs too.
Yeah, well, like I say, that was like a year ago that I heard they were threatening to revoke their tax-free status.
There was a whole commission on institutional sex abuse and whatnot, and the JWs got caught up in that because of how blatantly they've hidden and essentially encouraged such activities.
Well, that's as a trans woman, that is what hurts the most about the current attitude, is that the people who have been proven guilty are pointing their fingers and accusing me of being what they are.
Well, the JWs are really a cult, and so you're either on the inside or you're on the outside, and with Satan.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when I say that, I don't really care what religion it is. Comes out of all religions, but primarily out of the American evangelicals who play that crap.
Right.
And it just makes me so mad that they are hurting so many people who are good people who have never done a bad thing in their lives and just want to live their life, and they're accusing them of doing the shit that you are fucking doing.
Don't you understand? Those deviant children are seducing them, making them sin.
Yeah.
And please note my sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
I did a study on what it was to be ordained, how you have to be ordained, and I found out something. Once a group of people decide that they're a church and they're registered, what is a church, whatever, they can literally, I'm not saying any church does this, but I'm saying it's literally possible. They could decide that the only way that they're going to have a preacher is if they're a convicted pedophile. That can be the one.
Oh, sure.
Literally, there is, what my point is that being a preacher means nothing at all.
Yep.
Oh yeah. There are online churches who will basically ordain anyone.
Well, yeah, I'm ordained through the what is it? The First Church of Atheism. And I the thing is when I looked at that, I was like, okay, this has got to be a scam, and so that's why I started studying. And then I found out, well, yeah, the First Church of Atheism made a church, and then they basically they used to, they don't, they're not operating anymore, but basically you just send in a request and they send you a certificate.
Yeah, $30.
I was considering getting ordained when I was a pagan, just so I could, perform marriages for friends.
But what bothers me is that.
No, go ahead, Dave.
The bar is that low. Go ahead.
That's the damnedest of the whole thing, is that because of the legal definitions of these things, that you can go and pay some organization who's done the paperwork and $30, and you become ordained minister, and you get all the rights and privileges of an ordained minister from a mainstream church.
Yeah, well, that's when I was looking at it to do it for a friend's marriage, it really struck me that it was going to take me less to get ordained as a minister than it was going to take them to get a marriage license.
Yeah.
Actually, I was looking into it because I wanted to volunteer as a chaplain at the Colorado DOC and Florence ADX. Because, hey, I was an ordained minister. How many atheist ordained ministers do they have? And I wanted to do that to make a point, and I never have gotten around to that yet.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, Aaron Raz ordained.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was ordained by the Satanic Church.
I was ordained, but I had a different name then, so I got to get reordained.
Well, Shannon Q, was also apparently now able to ordain people into the Church of Secular Humanists.
Oh, that's right.
Did they actually formally file the paperwork and become a so-called legitimate?
I think she did. I think she actually has a government certificate for it now.
Oh, no kidding. I got to get a hold of her. Because I want that that paperwork, because I want to be able to stand up against these evangelicals.
And the thing is all of a sudden you can get
their goddamn preachers.
Yeah, you can all of a sudden get access to prisons and military bases and all kinds of things for having a piece of paper that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. Well, and that would be the other thing for it, is just that, for people in the hospital, who just may need some comforting but aren't religious, that if you're an ordained minister, that, you can go in there and you can talk to patients, that just, if you didn't have that piece of paper, you're not allowed to do that. Not
right,
unless they're family members.
I think that's exactly what makes it important.
This abuse and attacks that we are undergoing, and I'm referring to the entire LGBTQ AI community, is universal across the country and in most Western nations right now, and it is becoming a real war with the physical violence that's happening from their side to us.
Yep.
There are now gay groups of people who are taking arms training and are getting proficient and getting concealed carry license and are armed on the street because their lives are in danger.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a response to how many violent attacks there have been in gay bars and nightclubs.
I really have mixed feelings on that, because yes, I can definitely see that, like at the Q Club, if a bunch of those people would have been, well, I guess you can't be armed at a club, but if there had been people that were armed somewhere around, it would have stopped a lot quicker.
Yeah, and there's that whole thing, but there's also a great deal of violence that LGBT people experience just on the street, not necessarily in a bar, not necessarily in some social climb of some sort, but just because there's some prick that that wants to hurt people and kill people and thinks that have some religious right to do that, and people are arming themselves for it. And if I could afford it, I would probably be buying myself another Sig Sauer and taking the training myself. It'd be refresher courses because I've had it before.
Yeah, I have very mixed feelings about it. That, I'm certainly not going to tell anyone else that they shouldn't, but I'm not comfortable with having a gun in my home.
Well, for me, it's kind of different. I don't have a problem whatsoever with people having guns, but the problem is then I'm afraid that the Christians will start ratcheting it up and trying to make it into a war.
Yeah.
Well, they damn queers are gonna have guns. We're gonna show them.
Well,
and
you'll notice, Dave, that even though this has been going on for a number of years now, it's not a commonly spoken of thing. And I probably wouldn't have brought this up if we were in primetime broadcast.
Yeah.
Because you're right. We don't want them to know.
Well, I don't know if that point really matters that much, because most of the people who take that attitude already have guns.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's it. When I go to focus on the family on the church day, I am literally, I'm really, I have a vest because I was a security officer. I'm really considering wearing it when I film those people, because it could be dangerous,
Might not be a bad idea.
And if the cops come up and ask me why I'm wearing a jacket, I'm like, there's Christians here.
And in many states, I don't know who, I would like to get a list. They've gone from concealed carry permitting to open carry.
Yeah, that's becoming more common now.
No permitting necessary, just open carry. It's my constitutional right. and
Yeah, you can open carry in Colorado. I could open carry right in front of the church. The one thing when I studied this, though, because I've been studying the grounds and everything else, they have 200 weapons at that church. Because to be a security guard, you have to be proficient in operating weapons and maintaining the arsenal. Is that not scary?
yeah, that is. I have never heard such a thing.
So they have armed guards there, and that's another reason why I think I might need to wear the jacket. And like I said, I can't get in trouble for it. I just say, look, I've got Christians here. I'm scared.
I actually really like that line. There's Christians here. It's dangerous.
Well, it's true. I truly mean that. I'm not, I've been really debating on it, but and I could carry if I wanted to, but I'm not going to give anybody any excuses.
Hey, if you're going into a place where there's guns and you think you're gonna piss people off, yeah, wear the jacket.
What's the fancy? I'll say clinical, but not. I don't mean hospital. What's the fancy name for a bulletproof jacket or vest? What do they call it? Body armor?
Yeah.
Or is there some fancier word that they use?
Well, not really. They usually call it a vest.
Well, I'm thinking of some
body armor.
Often say
that
body
would make
armor.
it very clear that it's bulletproof vest, but in language that A, won't offend, and B, will be understood by non-gun people.
Oh, I could say protective jacket.
Yeah, I'll play with that. I think it would be a great bumper sticker to say, I wear my jacket because Christians are dangerous. People need to start
Depends on the
understanding
Christian.
how true that is.
Well, this is focused on the family, so this is as radical as they get.
Yeah.
And there's going to be thousands of people. What I'm going to do is I'm going to film, basically do an audit out there, and I'm going to stand right at the corner of the sidewalk where everybody goes in. So there's going to be thousands of people going by me. So damn good and well, somebody's going to call security. Mm-hmm. And then security, it may or may not call the police, and then who knows what's going to happen from there. But I'm just going to make sure I don't do anything illegal. Although I am I'm a fugitive. I'm a fugitive right now. There's a warrant out for my arrest.
Are you sure you should be saying this is on a live stream?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It all stems from that lawsuit where the Pueblo Sheriff's Department assaulted me. The neighbor has been harassing me ever since. The last time I saw the neighbor, he came over to my house. I told him to get the F off my property repeatedly. He got physical with me and basically was threatening with me and so forth. But he said his thing and left and went across the street. So I was like, okay, I am not going to call the police because the last time they were here, they brutalized me. So I'm sure as shit not going to call them, So I was just like, I'm going to let it fly. Well, he called the police on me. They came to the house the next day. And for 30 minutes, unfortunately, my wife opened the door and let them in the house.
Oh, crap.
And then she got me in the basement. I come upstairs and they're like, well, the neighbor said that you, and I told them, so why are you here? Have I broken any laws? No. Well, you just can't go over there. Okay, fine. Get the fuck out. Well, we just need to talk to you. You just told me. And it went on for 30 minutes that I was telling them to get the hell out of my house. So that's going to be the second lawsuit. But after that, mysteriously, I got charged with this. And I bet you it's the cops that were involved in the first or second incident that actually filed the charges. Because I looked at the statutes and there is no way in hell that I could be accused, that I'm guilty of trespass or harassment. The judge signed off on it, but when the police bring stuff to a judge, a lot of times they really don't know all the facts or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, fine, okay, fine." They sign off on the
judge only had to sign off on probable cause, don't they?
I don't know exactly how that worked, but I do know the judge signed off on it. But the judges in this area are pretty corrupt. But I don't really give a crap. No matter what, I'm going to plead not guilty, and we'll go to the Supreme Court if we have to. But I'm just going to talk to my public defender and see if he can talk to the DA, because I've never been in any trouble, and it's literally not in the statutes. I did not do anything wrong. And if he wants to go for it and they convict me, fine. I'll just go to the Court of Appeals, and then I'll just go right up the chain. There's no way in hell it's going to stick.
A good piece of advice is
a good idea for you to be armed in any way, shape, or form while this is going on.
Exactly. You know what? I called my son today, and I was like, you know what? I've got a couple of guns, and I want you to take them so no one has any excuses.
Good idea.
It's a good idea not to talk to police without a lawyer.
Right.
Because police are allowed to take anything you say and use it against you, and they don't have to take anything you say and use it for you.
Absolutely.
So it's best not
also,
just not say anything to a police.
If you're going to do that with your son, do it on camera.
Nice. That's a good idea, actually.
There's a record of it, and him agreeing and him leaving with it and getting in his car and driving away with him.
Yeah, because they can see that. Well, I've probably got a bunch of guns that registered to my name that I haven't had in 20 years. But the cool thing is this: the records department called me from the sheriff's office, and this is a records lady. She doesn't know shit, and I expressed before that I was afraid that they might have destroyed the body cam footage. Well, she didn't know any better, and she called up and said, "Well, we can't give you that footage because it's involved in another case." Which was my case of harassment. So they wouldn't give me the body cam footage. And so I says, "But you do have it, right?" I was recording the conversation. And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, you do have all the body cam footage?" "Yes." That was on tape. So now if they get that, if we still get that body cam footage and it's not edited, they're screwed. But the thing is this, now, because she's told me that they did have it, if it disappears, guess what? They're screwed. So either way, I get to win that case. And I know I sound really, really confident, but I've studied the living crap out of this for the last year.
and sadly, that doesn't mean a damn thing. There's a lot of people on death row who are innocent.
Oh yeah, I realize that. I was a peace officer for 15 years, but I know I can win this for sure. It's not.
Well, unfortunately, in the end, so much of it comes up to what judge is hearing your case.
Well, once again, it doesn't matter, because if I have to go all the way up to the Supreme Court, which I won't have to, I'm sure the sheriff's department is going to want to bury it very fast. So they're probably going to want to offer me a settlement. And it depends on how much they harass me between now and then. If I decide to stretch it out for, 5-6 years, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
If they back off on me and leave me alone, then I might just take a settlement. But if I'm pathological demand avoidant, the more you push against me, the more I'm going to push back. It's a neurological disorder.
Yeah. Well, it's also, your personal resources.
And it's also how
much you can fight it.
My attorney is David Lane. He's a ACLU civil rights attorney, and he is known across the country, but particularly by every court and every police station in this state. So that's going to help me too.
Yep.
And the cop on the street is not going to give a fuck.
Oh no, they don't.
People still get beat up and die. I used to be pro cop. Okay. In fact, when I was getting out of high school, becoming a cop was one of the things I considered. And my mom, was in emergency medicine, and I knew a lot of firefighters and paramedics and cops and things like that. And the cops I knew, I always thought, well, these are the good guys. I know that Uncle Al, the victim's pal over here, is never going to go and beat some kid up. He's just not that way. He might beat up a lawyer, but he's not going to go beat up some kid.
I was only
Well,
I was
let
only.
me finish. Let me
Oh,
finish.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
And you know, and so I was just pro cop, and I modified that some. That, well, there's definitely some bad cops out there, you know, and you know, this is maybe 25 years ago, or so, and you know, you gotta pay attention, you know, and don't push the cop because he can push back with a bigger club. And since the things like George Floyd have happened, and the things like body cams, and you know, just people filming on the street when they see something going down, there are so many of these instances for no reason whatsoever. This person gets beat up and killed. You know, it's I saw this videotape of a guy who has no legs in a wheelchair, and the cops found it necessary to drive his face into the ground and handcuff him and tase the shit out of him. Okay, you want to tell me how much of a threat this guy was to you, please?
Well, clearly he was going to run away.
I can kind of explain that a little bit. Like, I was in Department of Corrections for 15 years in Colorado. Now, when officers went overboard and used excessive force, I would write reports, and my bosses, they did everything they could to try to make me rewrite my reports because I told the truth. You know, officer so-and-so walked into the room and assaulted inmate so-and-so, you know, and guess what? My reports disappeared. I was never part of that incident. And the corruption, I stayed an officer. I never promoted at all, because the more you promoted, the more corrupt it got. The more
I would begin to photograph the reports I filled out.
Actually, I kept copies and I took them home. But nonetheless, it never came up. But I can't tell you why there's that attitude or the problem with the police. I noticed immediately that, and a lot of most inmates will tell you this, or people who've done time, about 80% of the cops are there for power and control. That's why they became a cop. They want that high. They want to go fight. They want that. Well, with that kind of culture, it's exacerbated by, like, I was just looking in Florida. There was a town that they required like 10 arrests a day.
Yeah.
And they asked, they wanted a quota for arrest every day. And so there's that pressure. But then also, when a cop addresses someone, if there's any kind of resistance whatsoever, they immediately think criminal. And if it's someone's just saying, well, you know, I'm in a public place, I don't have to ID myself, that's First Amendment, they immediately have that we're going to get this bad guy attitude. The other thing that I've noticed, and I've studied thousands of videos now on YouTube and so forth, and watched them, I have not seen one video where the cops were like, whoa, stop. We need to ensure that everyone's civil rights are being observed, and that that they're being constitutionally, we're constitutionally aware as we handle this situation. No. Every single time it's, okay, we could get him for this, we could get him for this, and we could charge him for this. What do you think? Every single time it's about getting the person. There is no thought whatsoever about the Constitution or upholding their civil rights. Literally no thought. And that's what the problem with the police department is. And so when you've got those attitudes with these people with power and control, the only way that you can possibly get rid of them is to have policies like, if they say anything about not liking the Constitution, or if they're afraid of video cameras, they should be fired immediately. I, as a peace officer, loved video cameras because there was no freaking blue shield. No, there was the fucking video shield. The videos is what covered my butt. I was not afraid of them at all. I wanted as many cameras around as possible. So, when there's cops that are afraid of cameras, that tells you everything you need to know about that person right there.
Just the fact that cops can turn their body camera off at will is like just
and they
screams
can
of
legally
corruption.
lie.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they can legally lie. You cannot, if you lie to them, you're going to get in trouble. But they can lie to you about anything and everything. In fact, there's nothing that they can't lie to you about.
I saw this other vid where it was a traffic thing. I don't remember the exact specifics of it, but the guy who was in the car that the cops were approaching was some guy in his 60s, 70s, something like that. Old, obviously infirm because he had a cane, and frankly didn't seem like a terribly bright person. But they found reason to scream at him for resisting because he was old and disabled and not able to get out of the car quickly. That they called it resisting, and ended up putting this old fucker on the ground and tasing him. It's like, God damn it! You think that you have a tase because that you can use it every time? No, it's there that as an option instead of shooting, not as a tool to use on everyone. It's
But there's a real tendency to use force first and to be very aggressive. And that's literally the opposite of what you should do as an officer. It doesn't matter if the guy does have a gun. Hey, what's going on, man? Instead of, get on the ground, I'm going to fucking shoot you, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You're automatically just escalating it to the max there. But if you're like, hey, what's going on, guy? Let's talk about this. Can you put the gun down? We'll you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just by your attitude, you can totally control the situation. And they do control the situation with violence. And they don't have to.
I think the biggest mistake of recent times has been us on the left. It's our fault. We caused it. We've made our own bed to sleep in. Is when the call for defund the police came out. That it was such a terrible choice of language.
Yeah.
That it instantly, the first time I heard it, I went, "Oh no! Did you really?"
I still don't even understand it.
And to you and I, we talk about it. It probably means just what it's intended. That the police got a big budget. They spend a lot of money on military stuff. What if we took a bunch of money from that budget and hired social workers and counselors who go out to various calls that are not necessarily threatening or violent or armed with weapons, and try to de-escalate and deal with people and get them the help they need and all this good. But the conservatives here, they automatically use it for a tool of their bullshit campaigns and say, "Oh, look how Democrats want to get rid of all the police." It's like, dude, come on! Nobody wants that, and you know it.
Actually, I did run into some people who were proponents of thinking that's exactly what it meant, and were in favor of that.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's very mature.
So when I first heard, I was recommending that they should use demilitarize the police.
That would have been much better.
I think that's a good first start.
Yeah. Well, I think the other problem, the other reason it didn't get very far, was because we just were selling it as a racial issue, that it was just them abusing black people. I think if people had been made more aware that, police violence isn't strictly racial. Yes, it is disproportionately affecting people of racial minorities.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not the only victims.
White guys with guns get killed at least 1,000 times a year by cops too.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'll go take walks at night at some time, and I'm more worried about the cops than I am about the criminals. I can defend myself against the criminals.
Same. Yeah.
I did the math. I found out a big scam, and that is, let's say your average officer. Of course, there's no quotas, but if a officer writes 3 tickets a day, like where I live, it's fairly rural, and so the police's job here is tax collection. That's what they're here for, But if they write just 3 tickets a day, they pay for their salary and all their training, their cruiser, and everything else with 3 tickets a day. But what the police departments do is say, oh, we don't have enough money. We need more cops. What they're saying is they need more tax collectors. And those tax collectors make money for them. It's a scam. Yeah. It's a total scam. Literally every cop pays for themselves, at least in rural areas. I'm sure there's places in big cities or whatever where the cops are just constantly actually having to go after the bad guys. But your average cop is a ticket writer. That's 80% of their job.
The cops scare me so bad at this point, and the attitude of society goes along with that.
Well, I was a peace officer for 15 years. I'm terrified.
I know that if I'm in a tense situation with the cops, okay, and they find out I am transgender, they're going to take me down if they can. And when they get me in the cuffs and back to the station, they're going to throw me in with men, regardless of what genitals I have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're going to treat you as horrible as they possibly can.
I will. I end up in there, and I'm going to be getting raped, 20 times a day. But they don't care. They just don't fucking care. And it's a lethal situation for me if I get pulled over and get that bad cop with the attitude.
Yeah.
I have a very, very good relationship with the cops here in our little town. I know both of them.
Are they decent to you?
They're very decent. We wave when we drive past each other. They see me driving with no seatbelt or shoulder harness on.
This is what really freaked me out.
And they treat everybody in town that way because they know everybody and they know these are honest people not interested in doing fucking bad things. And
this is what really freaked me out about the department here. They brutalized me, and then they violated my my civil rights twice when they came to my house, trespassing both times. Completely unprofessional, did everything wrong. When I went to the sheriff's office, I actually had 2 cameras running, and that was very obvious. I have a big camera. What do you call it? The thing that holds the microphone and the lights and all that crap. So that was very obvious. And I had that camera running the whole time I was talking to them. And those people were absolutely, completely professional. In the station, out on the street with me, they were the complete opposite. Very bizarre to me.
Well, that's the Eddie Haskell syndrome. When they're around authority, they know they have to be on their P's and Q's, and so they're very appropriate. And when they're out and mom and dad are gone, they act like their true selves. and Eddie Haskell was the guy who behaved that way. What was Beaver's brother's name?
Leave it to Beaver's brother Wally.
Wally, yeah. Wally's buddy, Eddie Haskell, was like that. He'd get around the parents. He was, well, hello, Mrs. Cleaver. How are you today? And when as soon as he gets out the door, he's in there, that bitch, or something like that. So that's what cops are. They're just like that. They're juvenile.
Mm.
So anyway, Monday I got to go turn myself in, which basically I've already talked to the bail bondsman and stuff. So I hopefully will be out in a couple of hours. But I'm taking a few precautions when I do go in. I'm wearing my autistic t-shirt for one. I'm giving them my autistic card before I even talk to them. And also explaining to them who my attorney is. Because both my attorney and actually the lady at the sheriff's department said, yes, it would be a good idea to let them know that you've got a pending lawsuit. They will probably be much more careful. And that is true. So I'm going to let them know all that up front before I give them my ID.
Dave, just remember, I would suggest having somebody with you at all times, as long as they allow it. And also to remind you that you can say things like that I have a lawsuit going, in a very pleasant and supportive way, that you can say it as though you are their ally, and they will be non-aggressive because of it. You know, like
Yeah.
listen, I just, I want you guys to know so that you don't, make any mistakes or anything here. I have this lawsuit going with you guys, and it would just look bad if shit happened here. So,
Yeah, let's not do
I
anything
want
to
to keep you
complicate.
guys, I want to keep you guys safe. So just so you know that, okay?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna write that, write him a little note, or put it in writing and hand it to him before I actually give him my information. But the one lady, she was really nice. She took some of that information and she said she'd pass it on. So I told her, I was like, I don't want any trouble. I want to get this done with and get out of there. But I'm not worried about it at all. It's just going to be a pain in the ass.
Okay, folks, I think I do need to wrap it up here for the night, though. I'm starting to fade here.
All right. I guess 4 hours is just a little too much, huh?
Well, I didn't really sleep last night.
Damn.
So, and yeah, I promised Slothgurl I was supposed to take her out today, but then because of the weather, she thought it was better if we wait till tomorrow. So
How much
I have
did you
to
get
take
up
her out
there?
shopping. Huh?
How much did you get up there?
I'm not sure. They had originally said that it was going to be like 3.5 inches today, and then they cut the forecast back to like 1.25 inches. But then when I went out to move my van, it was deep enough. I was thinking I was going to have to shovel before I could get the van out of the parking space. So, it's pretty significant. It's got to be at least 6 inches now.
We got about 2-3 inches, but it was warm enough that a lot of it just collapsed and disappeared. But now it's snowing again tonight and tomorrow night, and it's supposed to go
well,
for
that's
2
the
days.
6 inches is like the accumulation over about 2.5 days. But during the daylight hours, it actually has been melting, so the stuff has been packing down.
Yeah, well, that's over. It's going to be dropping into the 20s.
Yep.
For the next couple of weeks, maybe forever.
Oh,
I
don't
thought I
even
was
know
from
if we're
Colorado.
that warm. I think beginning of next week, we're supposed to be down in the single digits.
Yep. Exactly.
I thought I was from Colorado and I knew all about snow. And then I moved to Ohio in Youngstown. That's right there in the what's that zone called? The lake effect. Yes. Okay. When the first day I walked out and could not see my car at all, I realized I did not know crap about snow.
Yeah, lake effect is pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the Chicago area. Yeah. Actually, I've always lived on one of the Great Lakes every place I've been.
Isn't that kind of neat? It's.
Yeah.
I really miss living not being close to the shore.
Well, where I am here now, I'm not really close to it. It's a couple hours north of me for Lake Superior. But yeah,
all right, you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I am still looking for people to host time slots on Christmas Day for the marathon.
I still haven't learned how to do that yet, so I wouldn't be able to join in.
Well, I could teach you that over the weekend if you're interested. But
StreamYards, use StreamYards. It's easy to.
Yeah, that's what I mean. With StreamYards, I can walk you through it in about half an hour, give you all enough of the basics so you can run your own stream.
And I'll come on with you, Mage, and support you.
There you go. You'll have somebody experienced as a co-host.
Okay.
I'll talk to my wife. Go ahead, Purple.
Yeah. Well, even if you can't host the stream, if you just, be around to pop into other people's to keep things going.
Yeah, I was planning on popping into other people's.
Yep.
Yeah. And Mage, if you do your own, and I'm going to be on there with you, I'll come prepared. I'll screen capture a bunch of porn and stuff that we can share.
Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to plug before we go?
Yes, I would like to again plug Kate Farr, Bionic Dance is Quinn Redshift.
Yeah, she just put that up today.
She put a lot of work into that. It's 5 years of work for her. So,
is that on her channel?
Yes, I just posted a link in the chat here.
Yep.
You can go check
Awesome.
that out.
I see the link in the YouTube chat there. Yeah, definitely gonna take a look at that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really I just want to wholeheartedly agree with you on that, Mage. It really was very, very well done.
Yes.
And I love to support somebody who knows what they're doing and is doing their best to put out a good product.
Mm-hmm.
And it's free.
And my next garden video will probably be me just playing around with a microscope. So let's get a bunch of stills and post it up.
I want you to do a show on recipes for mud pies.
Recipes for mud pies? What, a compost video?
Sure.
I should actually do one. It is a good topic to cover.
Compost video so that when shit doesn't happen, how you make it happen?
Yes.
All right. I'm out of here. I'm gonna hit the leave button right now. 3.
All right. Well,
2,
I just want to
1.
thank everybody who keeps helping me going, and right now to thank Mage sent me a Lego Dragon, and Andrew while we were in the stream here sent me a generous donation on PayPal.
Awesome.
And
different Andrew to me.
oh, was it? Okay. I guess that was just coincidence. I thought it was you.
No, sorry.
Okay.
I don't want to steal someone else's glory.
Yep. Okay, well, and all the people who have been supporting me, Skitscrasher, Kitty, Lavender Lady, Robert X, Greg Hartwick, Vonrek, and Dog. I appreciate you helping me keep things going, and that basically I can keep running this channel without it really being anything out of my pocket at this point. I'm at least breaking even on it, and I really appreciate that. So with that, we will bid you all a good night, and we will see you.
Good night.
Good night.